Chapter 1786. Surrender? The Yuanming sect disciples at the side were dumbfounded. Ma Gubo was clearly unyielding and looked like he would never surrender. Why did he surrender in the blink of an eye? His attitude changed too quickly. Didn't /T he need some preparation? Fuck, this fake Elder Ma was indeed unreliable. To think that they had worshipped him a little before, thinking that Ma Gubo might be a righteous and unyielding man. Who knew that he would turn out to be like this, surrendering faster than anyone else, a complete traitor. The group of Yuanming sect disciples looked at Ma Gubo with even more disdain. Of course they did not know the power of the Expiation Sutra. After all, it was a top secret of the Buddhist sects and it had not appeared in the world for a long time. Ordinary people had not seen the power of the Expiation Sutra. At the same time, it was extremely difficult to successfully cultivate the Expiation Sutra. Even the eminent monks of the Buddhist sects did not know much about it. Even if they did, its power would be ordinary and nothing to be afraid of. As time passed, not many people knew about it. Only a Dharma-characteristic realm mighty figure like Ma Gubo had the time to understand the secrets of the universe and search for secret information. That was why he knew how powerful the Expiation Sutra was. He was immediately frightened by Xia Ping and was at a loss. Surrender? It / too late. Upon hearing this, how could Xia Ping let go at this moment? He was not a fool. How could a surrendered Ma Gubo compare to a loyal Ma Gubo who had been expiated? After expiating Ma Gubo, he would be one of them and he could make him say whatever he wanted. Why should he let him go and cause huge trouble for himself in the future? No. Devil you / Ria devil. No, I don't / T wanna be expiated. Don't / T expiate me. Ma Gubo shrieked. However, after a while, as the power of the Expiation Sutra surged continuously, a golden energy filled the depths of his brain and slowly condensed into a Buddhist seed. Immediately, the ferocity, fear, uneasiness, and fear on his face disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by calmness, peace, and kindness, as if he was an eminent monk who had attained the Tao. Fellow Taoist Ma, wake up. With a snap, Xia Ping snapped his fingers, and a crisp sound resounded in the air, like a morning bell or evening drum. At this moment, Ma Gubo slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was originally filled with hatred towards Xia Ping, but now it had completely changed. It was filled with gratitude and sincerity. He said, "Thank you for your guidance, fellow Taoist Xia. Today I have finally achieved enlightenment and understand the countless mistakes I have made in the past. Now I am extremely regretful and hope to use my life to pay for my sins." Nothing is better than being able to correct one's mistakes. It's not too late for you to have an epiphany now and become a Buddha. Xia Ping nodded. Fuck, what's going on? When the many Yuanming sect disciples saw this, all of them were stunned. Where in the world did that hot-tempered, bloodthirsty, and evil Ma Gubo go? Just like that, after being casually guided by this native, they felt as if they had already stepped into the Tao, entered the Buddhist path, comprehended everything, and everything became empty. They had never seen such a calm expression on Ma Gubo's face before. It was as if Ma Gubo, who used to commit murder and arson, had now become a sheep eating grass. At this moment, their hairs stood on end. They finally knew why Ma Gubo was so terrified and willing to surrender. It turned out that this was the power of purification, completely changing one's personality and entering the Buddhist path. He was a Dharma-characteristic realm mighty figure with boundless dharmic powers. Now, he was actually subdued, thinking that he had an epiphany and was freed. He was completely loyal to the other party. This was worse than death. Many Yuanming sect disciples shuddered in fear, unable to say anything at all. How did you guys come to this place? Xia Ping immediately asked them how they arrived at planet Yanhuang. We accidentally discovered a mystic realm with a large number of space stones. Ma Gubo spoke of his experience. At that time we were extremely excited and thought that we had struck it rich. Who would have thought that this mystic realm would have a large number of hollow beasts? There were countless monsters. In the end, we were chased by these monsters and had to flee. However, we accidentally encountered a space storm and entered this storm-forbidden zone. However, we were lucky and paid a huge price to pass through the storm and enter this safe zone alive. Storm-forbidden zone? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and asked about this in detail. Under Ma Gubo's narration, he said that a galaxy near planet Yanhuang was basically surrounded by a space storm. This was considered a forbidden zone in the northern universe. Even sages could not easily barge in. If they were not careful, they could fall into the endless dimensional storms and die. Needless to say, ordinary people would not dare to approach this place. This was considered a famous forbidden zone in the northern universe. It was a forbidden zone without life. The people of the northern universe could not imagine that there was actually a native planet in this storm-forbidden zone that nurtured an ordinary human civilization. I see. Xia Ping was enlightened. It was no wonder that planet Yanhuang had not been discovered by aliens for hundreds of thousands of years. This was because this galaxy was basically surrounded by space storms and no one could approach it. The area around planet Yanhuang was considered the only safe zone in this place. There were no space energy storms. According to Ma Gubwa, this area did not even seem to be connected to the universe virtual network. They could not contact people from the sect to come and rescue them. Of course, Xia Ping already knew about this. Master. At this moment, the green ox's voice was heard. It was very excited. You must ask where the mystic realm that produces space stones is. If we can get a large number of space stones, we can definitely speed up the restoration of the beat of mountains and rivers. At the very least, we can restore most of the core formation and let the beat of mountains and rivers regain its former glory. It said that space stones were extremely precious ores in the universe. They contained a huge amount of space energy. Many space rings were created with space stones as the blueprint. Some space treasures were forged with space stones. A few of them would be worth a lot. If there was a place that produced space stones, it would undoubtedly be a huge treasure trove. It was equivalent to a mortal discovering a huge gold mine. It would be very easy to become rich overnight. Where is the mystic realm that produces space stones? Xiaoping asked. It's somewhere not far from the storm-forbidden zone. Ma Gubwa answered without hesitation. One day later, Ma Gubwa and the other Yuanming sect disciples had basically been expiated and turned into puppets. They were loyal and devoted. As for Xiaoping, he let this group of people enter the Gaia space as the human super thugs. They assisted in protecting the important officials of the Federation government to prevent them from being accidentally killed. They were also to protect his mother and father. Chapter 1787. Whoosh. Xiaoping drove the stars and flew all the way, soon reaching the edge of the Milky Way. Immediately, he saw that the Milky Way was surrounded by clusters of spatial storms, as if there were ancient fierce beasts exhaling in the depths of the void, blowing across the universe, making whistling sounds full of destructive aura. Moreover, these spatial storm areas were thousands of light years long. The storms were chaotic and contained terrifying destructive energy. Ordinary spaceships would be destroyed in an instant if they entered. No wonder this is the storm-forbidden zone. No one has entered for countless years. Xiaoping was extremely amazed. This spatial storm area was too terrifying. Not only were there spatial storms blowing, but there were also many spatial faults. Among them there were thunderbolts, torrents of molten lava, blowing ice and snow, spreading poisons, and so on. They seemed to be terrifying energy leaking from countless dimensional spaces, and their power was boundless. Once swept in, he was afraid that he would be lost in the dimensional space forever, unable to return to the original universe. He would become a lost person until he died of old age. Even the stars could not withstand the energy explosion deep in the core of this storm area. If swept in, he was afraid that he would never be able to come out of this place and die without a complete corpse. If Ma Gubwa and the others' luck wasn't heaven-defying and extremely rare, they probably wouldn't even have the chance to pass through this spatial storm layer. They would have died inside and not even their dregs would be left behind. In fact, planet Yanhuang had never welcomed an alien visitor for so many years. If there were no accidents, planet Yanhuang would have developed steadily until it found the surrounding spatial storms. Of course, planet Yanhuang inadvertently connected to the sky realm and created a space tunnel, which was also a miracle and accident of the universe. Ma Gubwa, do you know how to leave this spatial storm layer? Xiaoping asked Ma Gubwa, who was staying in the space of the mountain river Pearl. I'm sorry, Daoist Xia. Ma Gubwa said helplessly, we only accidentally passed through the storm layer by luck. It's impossible to repeat it again. Even if you ask me, it's useless. He spread his hands, indicating that there was nothing he could do. Forget it, it seems that I can only use the wish compass. Xiaoping did not have much hope for Ma Gubwa. Fortunately, he still had a connate magic treasure, the wish compass. Boom. Thinking of this, he did not hesitate and immediately took action, instilling his divine sense into the wish compass. Immediately, the pointer of the wish compass rotated rapidly. This is the place. Xiaoping immediately followed the instructions of the compass of wishes and controlled the stars to move in a certain direction. Whoosh. All of a sudden, the stars entered the space storm layer, but the strange thing was that according to the compass needle, this path was extremely safe. It was as if countless storm energies were blowing around in a disorderly manner. As they intertwined with each other, they actually formed a stable and safe passage. This was a blind spot created by the intertwining of countless space storms. Ma Gubwa and the other Yuanming sect disciples must have entered this passageway unintentionally. That was why they were so lucky and managed to escape safely from this spatial storm layer. Without the guidance of the wish compass, a normal person probably wouldn't be able to find this passage even if they spent their entire lives. Another day passed. The stars passed through the spatial tunnel safely. Even though there were countless spatial storms blowing around, it was still extremely safe inside the tunnel. It was considered the only safe haven. Suddenly, the star region outside became calm and quiet. It was completely dark. This passageway is a bit troublesome. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Although it was a good thing that there was a passageway that led to the outside world, the problem was that it would be bad if this passageway was discovered. Even though this passageway was difficult to find, who could guarantee that there wouldn't be a second Ma Gubwa? When that happened, planet Yanhuang might be in danger. He had to think of a way to hide this spatial passageway. It seems like the only thing I can do now is to set up an array here to hide this spatial passageway. Xia Ping thought about it and immediately came up with a solution. He would set up an array here. However, this wasn't the time to set up an array. He still had to search for a mystic realm that contained a large number of space stones. This was his top priority now. As for hiding this spatial passageway, it wouldn't be too late to do that after some time. Where is that mystic realm? Xia Ping asked Ma Gubwa. Daoist Xia, it's not far ahead, about 150 million kilometers away, Ma Gubwa said, pointing northeast. There were faint bursts of light in the distance. In the distance, faint bursts of light could be seen. It was a huge azure door of light. It seemed to be a spatial entrance like the mouth of a giant beast, emitting a terrifying aura. Daoist Xia, this mystic realm seems to be mobile. The place it appears in every time is not fixed, and it will automatically move when the time is up. This time, this mystic realm will probably stay in this place for more than 10 days. If you miss this opportunity, you don't know how difficult it will be to find it again. Ma Gubwa reminded. Whoosh. Xia Ping immediately controlled the stars to move in the direction pointed by Ma Gubwa, quietly merging into the void. It didn't take long for them to pass through the cyan light gate. Suddenly, there was a change in space and he immediately appeared in another spatial world. Xia Ping immediately sensed that this mystic realm was very unusual. It was filled with rich space energy, almost condensed into a substance. The entire mystic realm was also extremely solid, as if it had crystallized. There were mountains around it as if they were condensed from crystals. In such a world, no plants could survive and it was bare everywhere. However, the area of this mystic realm was extremely vast and boundless. At least, within the range of Xia Ping's divine sense, he couldn't see the end of this world. Where are the space stones? Xia Ping asked Ma Gubwa. It's in this secret plains mineral vein. This place is rich in spatial stones, but basically all the spatial stone mineral veins are guarded by vacant beasts. They feed on spatial stones. If you want to mine spatial stones, you'll have to clash with vacant beasts. Previously we clashed with vacant beasts. In the end, we were no match for them and were forced to flee. Ma Gubwa said in a deep voice. In other words, if we find that group of hollow beasts, we will be able to find the location of the space stones. Xia Ping touched his chin and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Yes, you can say that. Ma Gubwa nodded. Wait, there's something wrong up ahead. Suddenly, Xia Ping's divine sense moved, and he immediately sensed a strong fluctuation thousands of miles away. Chapter 1788. These are the hollow bright beasts? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Below him, numerous crystal-like monsters appeared. Their bodies were sparkling and translucent, exuding a strong spatial aura. They had sharp claws, fangs, horns, scales, and many other things. They looked like lions. Their bodies' defenses were extremely strong. It seemed like ordinary powers wouldn't be able to break through their scales. Every scale seemed to have profound spatial runes that were unfathomable. Ordinary cultivators probably wouldn't be able to harm a single hair on them even if they went all out. Often, after punching the hollow bright beasts, the ferocious beasts would attack with their claws and tear their bodies apart. Back then, Ma Gubwa and the others had been beaten into a sorry state like this. They weren't a match for them at all. However, even though these hollow bright beasts were very ferocious, the battleships weren't simple either. Beams of laser cannons blasted out with terrifying might. They easily penetrated the bodies of these hollow bright beasts, leaving behind a ground full of corpses. Moreover, these battleships gave off powerful auras. It seemed like there were many returning nature realm and transcendence realm cultivators in them. There were even auras of lightning tribulation realm powerhouses. After a short while, the tens of thousands of hollow bright beasts below the plains were all killed. What's going on? Xia Ping asked Ma Gubwa. Daoist Xia, maybe the Yuanming sect's elders are here. When we were being chased by the hollow bright beasts, I already spread the news that I found a large number of spatial stones. They probably received the news and rushed over quickly to seal off this area. Ma Gubwa voiced out his thoughts. This was because any sect that received this news would send people over in a frenzy, hoping to monopolize the treasures. No one would complain about having too many treasures on them. Moreover, spatial stones were extremely precious resources. Many treasures required spatial stones. In fact, cultivating some spatial divine arts also required the assistance of spatial stones. No, that's not right. From the symbols on these battleships, the Yuanming sect isn't the only faction. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Then the news has been leaked. Other factions have also received this news and want to get a share of the loot. To be honest, I'm not very optimistic about the Yuanming sect's secrecy system. They're like a sieve and can't keep anything secret. Ma Gubwa said with certainty. He was very familiar with the Yuanming sect's situation. This sect was like a bandit's lair with good and bad people mixed in. It was very free, but this also meant that the discipline was not very strict. Many factions would send their own people into the Yuanming sect to gather information. Wait, I seem to recognize these sect symbols. Xia Ping looked at the symbols of the battleships in the distance and recognized them at once. There were familiar ones like Xintian sect and Juntian sect, as well as unfamiliar ones like Yuanming sect, Guiyue sect, and Tianjin sect. These were basically all saint-level sects of the northern cosmos. They cooperated with each other and were of the same branch. Interesting. Xia Ping touched his chin, and his eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He decided not to act rashly and alert the enemy for the time being. Instead, he would sneak into these forces to gather information before making any further plans. After all, according to Ma Gubwa, this pocket dimension was not as simple as it seemed. There were a large number of wild beasts living inside. If they wanted to obtain the space stone, they would have to deal with these wild beasts. Perhaps he still had a chance to borrow the strength of these forces to kill the group of beasts, allowing him to reap the benefits. Whoosh! Xia Ping put away the multitude star and left the flying ship. With a flash, he used the formless mask and turned into a wisp of green smoke, swiftly approaching the Yuanming sect and the other factions. At this moment, a large number of Yuanming sect elders were gathered on one of the Yuanming sect's battleships. They were all at least at the Transcendence realm. It could be said that apart from the elders who were guarding the sect, cultivating in seclusion and traveling outside, basically all the elders who could be mobilized were present. The Yuanming sect could be said to have sent out all their elites. As expected, this pocket dimension is emitting dense spatial energy and there are a large number of hollow beasts. There must be a large number of space stones inside. It seems like the information that Elder Ma Gubwa sent back is true. The one who spoke was Yuanming sect's Grand Elder Lu Wen, a mid-stage lightning tribulation almighty. He stroked his white beard and looked at the hollow beast corpse on the ground, feeling extremely satisfied. What a foolish hollow beast. They are indeed beasts. They can't tell who the real enemy is and actually dared to come forward to die. In the end, we easily slaughtered them all. These hollow beasts feed on space stones and are space-type creatures themselves. Every part of their bodies is extremely precious and is very suitable to be used as materials to refine spatial treasures. Plunder. Plunder all these hollow beast corpse beasts. Don't leave anything behind. These are all treasures. Many Yuanming sect elders revealed greedy looks. All of them had the personality of bandits, the type that would plunder anything they could get their hands on. They wanted nothing more than to take these hollow beast corpse beasts for themselves and plunder all the treasures they could see. Haha. I'm really grateful for Elder Ma Gubwa's information. If not for him, how could we have found this pocket dimension and made such a fortune? It's a pity that he was chased by many hollow beasts and was unlucky enough to encounter a spatial storm. Now there's nothing left of him. Otherwise, if he were still alive, I would definitely thank him properly. One of the Yuanming sect elders let out a long sigh. When many elders heard this, they scoffed. They could tell that these words were hypocritical. This was because this elder did not seem sad at all. Instead, he was gloating. And with one less elder sharing the treasures with them, they did not know how much more benefits they would gain. Alright, they're all dead, so there's no need to say anything else. However, which bastard leaked the news of this pocket dimension? To think that the Ancient Moon sect, Heaven Reflection sect, Shantian sect, and Great Sky sect would also receive the news and send people over to share the loot with us. How preposterous. Who knows how many benefits we're missing out on? Grand Elder Lu Wen clenched his teeth with an ugly expression. He looked at the many Yuanming sect elders with an unfriendly expression. He believed that the news must have been leaked by these elders. However, he could not find out what exactly it was. If no spy had leaked the news, their Yuanming sect would have been able to monopolize the loot. How could the other factions have a chance? Unfortunately, it was too late to say anything now. Grand Elder, there's no point in saying all this. We should hurry up and find a spatial stone vein and start excavating. An elder suggested, we don't know how long this pocket dimension spatial passageway can last. If we wait until this spatial passageway collapses and we don't get out, we'll probably be trapped in this world forever. We should take this opportunity to dig as many spatial stones as we can. There's no point in grumbling. Let's not waste time. Chapter 1789. On the other hand, the elders of the Ancient Moon Sect, Heavenly Reflection Sect, Shantian Sect, and Great Sky Sect were also discussing among themselves. Haha, those old farts from the Yuanming Sect are probably furious. They were the ones who discovered this place. If they had kept it a secret, they would have been able to monopolize it. However, now that they're forced to share it with us, they'll probably be furious. Some elders were proud of themselves for taking advantage of the situation. Humph, the Yuanming Sect wants to monopolize such a big piece of meat. Aren't they afraid of being stuffed to death? That's right. It's for their own good that we help share the burden. Otherwise, it'll probably be a disaster for the Yuanming Sect if they suddenly obtain such a huge amount of wealth. That makes sense. In that case, we've saved the Yuanming Sect. They should give us some compensation. Many elders were proud of themselves. It was a great fortuitous encounter to be able to find a secret plane that produced spatial stones. It required a lifetime's worth of luck. They believed that after this was over, they would obtain a large number of spatial stones and immediately become wealthy people in the universe. By then, they would be able to buy any Dharma treasures they wanted and eat any elixirs they wanted. They weren't afraid of the price. They were only afraid that they wouldn't be able to buy them even if they had the money. Although they hadn't ended this adventure yet, they felt that they had become super wealthy. Their future cultivation path would definitely be extremely smooth. Elders, to be honest, there are too many factions joining us this time. If there were fewer factions joining us, we might be able to obtain more spatial stones. By then, our earnings would increase by more than a few folds. If there's a chance, we might be able to take advantage of them and wipe out all the cultivators from the Yuanming Sect. Someone's eyes were ferocious. This is a mysterious secret plane anyway. There are also many dangerous beasts living here. Anything can happen. Even if the people from the Yuanming Sect all die, we can push their deaths onto the Hollow Bright Beast and the others. We don't have to worry about being exposed. There's no proof. He wanted to kill all the cultivators from the Yuanming Sect. No. We mustn't do that. However, an elder immediately shook his head and rejected the idea. The Yuanming Sect isn't a faction to be trifled with. This time they've also come out in full force. We have to think carefully if we want to deal with these old farts. If we're not careful, I'm afraid we'll be the ones to be wiped out. We must be careful. Even though that was what they said, there was a hint of ferocity in the eyes of these elders. If anything were to happen to the Yuanming Sect or the other sects, causing their strength to suffer, they wouldn't mind sending this group of people to hell and taking the spatial stones for themselves. For a time, these sect elders each had their own ulterior motives and undercurrents surged. Look, the Yuanming Sect found a spatial stone mine and they are currently fighting against a group of hollow bright beasts. We have to hurry over and snatch it. No, we have to reinforce them. One of the elders immediately shouted. What? Is there such a thing? Let's kill our way over and kill those hollow beasts. The eyes of the various elders lit up. They could sense that there was indeed a small or vein in the distance. There were a large number of spatial stones hidden underground. Otherwise, there would not be a small clarity beast nest here. At this moment, all of them put away their thoughts and charged forward to fight with the group of hollow beasts. At this time, Xiaoping was tailing the Yuanming Sect and the other factions, looking for an opportunity. Because of the formless mask, he was able to conceal his aura completely. No matter how high the cultivation states of these elders were, they could not sense Xiaoping's existence at all. A good chance. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He could see that the Yuanming Sect and the other factions were fighting it out with the 100,000 hollow bright beast. They were in an intense battle, causing smoke to rise up and the world to crack as blood flowed like rivers. At this moment, the hollow bright beasts had come out of their nests in full force as well. They were infuriated and were trying to kill these invaders. Therefore, their nests were now empty without the protection of the hollow bright beasts. Golden slime. At this moment, Xia Ping waved out with his hand, causing the golden slime on his body to appear. Slime. The golden slime was extremely excited. It could sense that there were precious ores deep underground that could allow it to evolve. If it were to devour them, its cultivation state would definitely skyrocket. Head over and dig out all of these spatial stones. However, don't digest them immediately. Xia Ping said to the golden slime, hoping that it could head over stealthily and dig out all of the spatial stone mines deep underground, leaving nothing behind. Slime. The golden slime called out and nodded. Without saying another word, it immediately turned into a lump of golden liquid. With a swoosh, it corroded the ground and rapidly melted into the depths of the earth, silently approaching the spatial stone mines. It didn't take long before it finally arrived. These are spatial stones? Through the golden slime's perspective, Xia Ping finally saw what the spatial stones looked like. They were sparkling and translucent like crystals, emitting a rainbow glow. They were incomparably beautiful and emanated a dense spatial aura. It was as if there was an independent world hidden within. This was an extremely mystical ore. However, this spatial stone mine was a small one, roughly 5 to 6 kilometers in length. Moreover, some of it had been eaten by the hollow bright beast, so only half of it was left. However, to the golden slime, this was considered an unparalleled nourishment. It couldn't handle it at all. Rumble, it immediately turned into a lump of golden liquid, covering the entire sky and covering the earth. In an instant, the spatial stone mine was covered. After this period of cultivation, the golden slime had eaten and drank well, devoured countless ores, and its cultivation state had skyrocketed. The speed at which it devoured the mine was many times faster than before. Dig everything out. Xia Ping clenched his fists. The spatial stones in the areas covered by the golden slime were disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Right now, they were all temporarily stored in the unique stomach space of the golden slime. The speed at which it was digging and devouring was simply too fast. In just over 10 minutes, the spatial stone mine, which was 5 to 6 kilometers in length, was completely devoured by the golden slime. All the spatial stones had been dug out cleanly. If anyone were to witness this scene, they would definitely be extremely astonished. The reason for that was because the underground had long since been dug out, leaving behind only a huge hole. Because the golden slime had devoured too cleanly, not even a single fragment of the spatial stone could be found on the ground. What a bunch of good people. Xia Ping watched on in satisfaction as the Yuanming sect and the others fought against the hollow bright beasts. While they were fighting, he would make use of the opportunity to plunder the spatial stones and obtain the greatest benefits. Chapter 1790. An hour later, the battle ended. Naturally, it was the Yuanming sect and the other factions who emerged victorious. A pile of hollow clarity beast corpses was left on the ground. There were holes everywhere and the ground was cracked. One could imagine how intense the battle had been. Even the warships had many cracks on them with many damaged areas. Due to the hollow clarity beasts' dying counterattacks, some elders had fallen in battle, causing them to suffer heavy losses. However, even after such a tragic battle, they were still excited. They had finally gotten rid of these hollow clarity beasts, and they would be able to monopolize the spatial stone mine. Quick, go and search for the spatial stones immediately. Don't let other factions get ahead of us. First come, first served. This feels great. We're basically picking up money. After working so hard for so long, we're finally reaping the rewards. The Yuanming sect and the other elders were extremely excited. They all left the warships and flew towards the mine. They entered the cave and rubbed their palms, trying to dig out the spatial stones and make a fortune. However, when they charged into the cave and tried to dig out the spatial stones, they were all dumbfounded. The entire mine was empty. There was nothing left. Where are the spatial stones? Where are the spatial stones? Isn't this a spatial stone mine? Why is there nothing here? Where the fuck did they go? Did they get eaten by dogs? One of the Yuanming sect elders went crazy. He searched everywhere for traces of the spatial stones, but he couldn't find anything. All that was left was an empty underground tunnel. Fuck, there really isn't a single spatial stone. No, there isn't even a fragment of the spatial stone. All the elders were stunned. They had fought so hard against the hollow clarity beasts and paid a heavy price, but this was the result. They couldn't accept such a cruel reality. Fuck, where did the spatial stones go? Don't the hollow clarity beasts feed on spatial stones? Without the spatial stones, do they all eat the northwest wind? Some elders were indignant. They dug 3 feet into the ground, but no matter how much they dug, even to the point where the cave collapsed, they couldn't find any spatial stones. Damn it. We fought so hard against the hollow clarity beasts and some of our comrades died. You fucking tell me this place is an abandoned mine? This is a big joke. Some elders were so angry that their bodies were trembling. Could it be that the appetite of those vacant beasts was too big and they ate all the spatial stones here? Someone guessed. Eat your ass. Even a pig would leave some scraps after eating. But now there's not even any scraps left. It's even cleaner than its face. It's like a Tautai has come to wreak havoc. I've never seen such a situation. An elder cursed loudly. Even if it was a gold mine, after excavation, there would always be some gold dust or gold sand left behind. However, there was none in this place, not even a fart. It was frighteningly clean, as if someone had been cleaning this place. Someone must have gotten here before us. These spatial stones aren't naturally formed, and they're definitely not caused by the hollow bright beast. An elder of the Heaven Reflection sect said confidently. His eyes shone brightly. He had discovered some clues about this cave. It was definitely not created by the emptiness beast, nor was it naturally formed. It was a sign of someone destroying it. What? Someone beat us to it? Which bastard is so daring to snatch food from the tiger's mouth right under our noses? Is he tired of living? Many elders were filled with killing intent. It seemed like as long as they found the person who took the large amount of spatial stones, they would immediately kill him mercilessly and teach him an unforgettable lesson. Wait, look. There are words on the wall. It's the universal language. An elder noticed that there were words on the wall. Everyone immediately looked over and saw a line of words written on it. The main meaning was to thank the elders of the Yuanming sect, the Ancient Moon sect, the Tianjian sect, the Shentian sect, and the Great Sky sect for helping him stall the empty bright beast, which gave him the opportunity to obtain the spatial stones here. They were really grateful, and if there was a chance they could treat them to a meal to repay their kindness. The signature was Wu Wudi. As expected, a thief got here first. I told you that this situation isn't natural. The Great Sky sect elder hollered. Damn, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to his 18 generations of ancestors. Hand over all the spatial stones. We risked our lives to deal with the empty bright beast, not to help you. The elder of the Ancient Moon sect was furious. Moreover, this little thief was incomparably arrogant and stingy. He had obviously stolen a large number of spatial stones, but he only treated them to a meal. He had never seen such a stingy person. They might as well not repay him at all. Find him. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find him. He actually dared to take our spatial stones. Even dying 100 times wouldn't be enough. An elder of Heaven Reflection sect roared in rage. It was obviously a fat piece of meat that was already in their mouths, but it was snatched away in an instant. It was obviously a lovely wife on their wedding night, but she was captured by a thief and had to drink the soup. How could this be? Even Buddha was angry. Who could stand it? Wu Wudi? Could it be that universe devil? A super wanted criminal? Why would this brat come to this place? The Mystic Heaven sect elder's expression was very ugly. He remembered that his sect had a feud with Wu Wudi. Once in the Fog Star Field, it was this brat who had ruined the Mystic Heaven sect's 1,000-year plan. This feud was irreconcilable. He came here to cause trouble and ruin our plan. Now he wants to jump out again. What a troublemaker. We must find him and tear him to pieces. The group of elders of the mysterious Heaven sect gritted their teeth. They wanted to catch Wu Wudi and tear him to pieces. But no matter how they searched, they couldn't find even the slightest trace, nor could they sense any foreign, unfamiliar auras appearing here. It was as if they were venting their anger on the air. They felt as if they had nowhere to use their strength. Forget it. Let's not waste time here. We should find the next vein as soon as possible. This world is very big and there are spatial stone veins everywhere. I don't believe that the next vein will be like this. That's right. That brat always causes trouble. He'll appear sooner or later. Don't ever show up again. Otherwise he'll definitely suffer. I heard that this brat is a wanted criminal in the universe and is being hunted by countless forces. If we can kill him, we'll immediately receive a large reward. Then we'll be able to make up for all our losses. A hint of greed appeared in the eyes of the elders, and they were filled with killing intent. However, some of the elders decided to give up on the investigation. They felt that they couldn't continue wasting time here. If they waited until the spatial channel to this secret realm disappeared, they would be completely finished. They would be trapped in this damn place forever. Chapter 1791. But a day later, Yuan Ming sect, Ancient Moon sect, and the others went crazy. Come out, Wu Wuti, come out now. The Yuan Ming sect's elder bellowed. You're just a fucking tagging along. You follow us wherever we go. Do you think we're your guiding light, your shield? Do you have any shame? You stare at the mines we found. I have never seen someone as shameless as you. You are the shame of the universe. They were furious. Originally, they didn't want to bother with Wu Wuti and continued to search for mines. They wanted to get rich silently. After all, this place was filled with space stones and they could dig everywhere. But who would have thought that this shameless Wu Wuti would be so shameless and follow them around? They had just killed a bunch of empty bright beasts, and he had already dug up all the spatial stones. He didn't even leave a single strand of hair behind. It was as if they were working for Wu Wuti, helping him kill the empty light beasts. That shameless bastard took the chance to sneak underground, dig up mines, and steal treasures. If it happened once or twice, they would just treat it as a coincidence. But that bastard didn't do that. He did it every single time. He treated them like super fighters and used them to help him kill the empty light beast. Such things happen one after another. Even a clay figurine would get angry. That bastard even left a message on the mine, saying that he was grateful for their help and that it was a happy collaboration. Cooperation? His face was filled with disbelief. Damn it, was there such a cooperation? They didn't get any benefits from this collaboration. Instead, they had to work hard. They had never seen such a con man. They wanted to capture Wu Wuti and tear him to pieces. Fucking Wu Wuti, if you are a hero, come out now and fight with us. You are a rat, a cowardly rat, do you know that? The Ancient Moon sect elder hollered and tried to provoke him. Right, come out. If you have the balls, fight to the death with us. Hiding in the dark like a rat, what kind of man are you? Many of the elders gritted their teeth. But no matter how they shouted, the surroundings were silent. No sound could be heard. It was as if he couldn't be bothered to reply to them. He continued to follow them and get rich silently. This made them even angrier and filled their stomachs with anger. This won't do. We can't go on like this. Otherwise, all the benefits that we've done will be taken by Wu Wuti. We won't even get a single strand of hair. We'll all be working for someone else. The elder of Juntian hierarch said. What else can we do? Do you think that we don't want to kill him? But his concealment ability is too strong. He simply appears and disappears like a ghost. We can't find his whereabouts at all. If it weren't for the words left on the mountain wall, we wouldn't even know if this person exists. The Mystic Heaven sect elder felt very helpless. It wasn't that they didn't want to kill Wu Wuti, but he was just too cunning. So what if he appears and disappears unpredictably? The monk can run but the temple can't. The Heaven Reflection sect elder's eyes flashed with a cold light. As long as we set up a restrictive array around one of the mineral veins and set up an inescapable trap, once that kid steps into the trap, we will immediately capture the hollow bright beasts and Wu Wuti. Then even if that kid has wings, he won't be able to fly out. That's a good idea. When the Yuan Ming sect elder heard this, his eyes lit up. We won't be able to find his whereabouts, but we can set up a trap. When that kid walks into the trap, we'll capture him alive. Our sect happens to have a heaven reflection void formation. Once it's set up successfully, it will seal the heavens and lock the earth. It will penetrate the void and be all-pervasive. No matter how capable that kid is, he definitely won't be able to escape. The Heaven Reflection sect elder laughed coldly. Anyway, that guy has his eyes on us. We can beat him at his own game. We'll head to one of the mineral veins and set up a formation waiting for that kid to fall for it. Alright, I've had enough of that kid. We have to kill that bastard. The various elders looked at each other and clenched their fists. They were united as a fortress. They immediately split up. Some searched for the mineral veins and confirmed the location of the trap, some prepared the materials for the formation, and some guarded the surroundings so that their plan wouldn't be leaked. Some elders were unwilling to give up and searched everywhere, hoping to find some clues. At this time, Xia Ping didn't care about the Yuan Ming sect elders' plan. He had already headed to another place. The golden slime had sensed a large spatial stone mineral vein. This mineral vein seemed to be 10 to 100 times larger than the previous ones combined. It was a true superspatial stone mineral vein. It contained a large amount of spatial stones, exceeding everyone's imagination. It really is a superspatial stone mineral vein. Xia Ping followed the golden slime and arrived at a mountain range. The mountain range was extremely huge, spanning over 300,000 kilometers. It stretched as far as the eye could see, and there were many towering mountains. It was like a primordial heavenly dragon lying on the ground. It was majestic, tall and majestic, shocking everyone. At the same time, he could also sense a violent aura coming from the depths of the mountain range. There were countless spatial beasts living here. Many of them were vacant beast kings, and their strength had reached the peak of Thunder Tribulation realm. It could be said that there were many vacant beasts living here. There were more than 300 million of them. Once these ferocious beasts were released, it would be a beast tide that would sweep through everything. Rumble. At this moment, the golden slime instantly drilled into the ground. Like a super drilling machine, it easily dug a huge hole several hundred kilometers deep into the ground. Following that, it dug a shocking tunnel deep underground, reaching the depths of the mountain range. It was completely silent, and none of the vacant beasts noticed the tremors. As the power of the golden slime digging the tunnel was too great, it directly devoured a large amount of rocks, soil and other materials and digested them in its stomach. Thus, there was no sound at all, and it silently devoured everything. Amazing! Xiaoping's eyes lit up because this vein was just too huge. It stretched for tens of thousands of kilometers, and contained an unimaginable amount of spatial stones. The dozen or so small veins from before couldn't even be considered as a strand of hair in comparison. Could be said that this should be one of the main mineral veins of this secret plane, a true treasure trove. Hold on, what is this? All of a sudden, Xiaoping's divine sense spread out. It went deep into the earth vein, reaching the deepest part. In the depths of the underground cave, the space suddenly opened up and a huge space appeared. It was as if the underground had been dug out, and this place could accommodate millions of people. At the center of this underground space, a crystal the size of a fist suddenly appeared. It emitted 7 different colors and it kept changing, illuminating the entire space. Numerous vacant beast kings seemed to be crawling under this crystal, guarding this strange stone. It was as if the light coming from it was extremely beneficial to them. No way, this is a rainbow divine stone. Master, you must get it, get this stone. Chapter 1792. Rainbow Divine Stone? What is this? Xiaoping asked curiously. Master, this is almost the king of space stones. It is a divine stone condensed from the essence of countless space stones. The green ox said excitedly, this kind of space stone can already be considered the prototype of a dimensional space. If it is given another opportunity to evolve, it will have a chance to grow into a dimensional world. 7-colored divine stones were extremely precious. Some sacred tier spatial magic treasures used 7-colored divine stones as one of the main materials. Back then, when his old master was refining the sacred tier bead of mountains and rivers, he had obtained a 7-colored divine stone. This kind of material is really too precious. Even if a sage knew about this, I'm afraid they would shamelessly come over to snatch it. This is a universal treasure, priceless. What? Xiaoping's body trembled when he heard this. He didn't expect this 7-colored stone to be so powerful. It was a naturally born spatial magic treasure that formed its own space inside its body. It was the prototype of a dimensional world. Master, you must obtain this divine stone. The green ox immediately said, once you obtain this rainbow divine stone and refine it, the mountain river pearl will immediately be able to restore most of its power. It doesn't matter if you don't have the other space stones, but you must obtain this rainbow divine stone. He couldn't wait to obtain this rainbow divine stone. I must obtain it. However, from the looks of that group of vacant beast kings, this rainbow divine stone is obviously very precious to them. Once I snatch it, I'm afraid I'll be chased everywhere. I must think of a way. Xiaoping touched his chin. To be honest, just in this underground cave alone, there were hundreds and thousands of vacant beast kings visible to the naked eye. Their strength had reached the tribulation realm at least, and they were extremely ferocious. Moreover, they ruled over thousands of races. Once they were enraged, countless vacant beast kings would attack, sweeping up a terrifying spatial storm. There was basically no way to escape. Naturally, it is very precious. After all, this rainbow divine stone emits extremely pure spatial energy. For these vacant beast kings, it is the strongest evolutionary energy. By staying near the rainbow divine stone, their cultivation can naturally increase rapidly. I reckon that the reason why so many vacant beast kings have appeared is because of the existence of this rainbow divine stone. Corinne also opened his mouth. Master, I think we still have to make use of the Yuanming sect, the Shantian sect, the Great Sky sect, and the others. If they can be our scapegoats and lure the beast kings away, we might have a chance to snatch the rainbow divine stone. The green ox gave his opinion. He had already learned bad things and often followed Xiaoping to cheat others. It's better to be careful. We've caused so much trouble before, so the people from the mysterious heaven sect are extremely angry. They even want to set up a trap for us. I'm afraid it won't be easy to trick them. Corinne felt that it was not optimistic. Being a bad person also required talent. If it was not good, he might not be able to cheat others and instead throw himself in. It doesn't matter. I have plenty of ways to make them take the bait. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. The corner of Corinne's mouth twitched. He was completely speechless. When it comes to swindling people, this bastard is already at the Grandmaster level. This kind of talent is perhaps even stronger than my cultivation talent. One day later, the Yuanming sect, the Shentian sect, the Great Sky sect, and the other sects had already breached a small mine and killed a large number of vacant beasts. They had also obtained a lot of space stones. However, they were not happy at all. Instead, they were extremely depressed because they had set up a trap with great fanfare, hoping to wait for Wu Wudi to take the bait. However, after waiting for a day, they still did not see Wu Wudi appear. It was as if Wu Wudi had long disappeared. The Yuanming sect and the other elders were extremely depressed. If Wu Wudi had already left after eating and drinking, then their efforts would be in vain. They would never be able to take revenge and could only suffer in silence. Although they were extremely aggrieved, there was nothing they could do because they could not find Wu Wudi's whereabouts. Elder Lu. At that moment in the Yuanming sect's camp, a few patrolling disciples immediately rushed into Grand Elder Lu Wen's lounge. What's going on? Didn't I tell you not to disturb me when I'm resting? Lu Wen was very displeased. No, Grand Elder, something big has happened. A few of us were patrolling nearby just now, hoping to find some traces of Wu Wudi. However, we didn't expect to find a torn piece of clothing. That's Elder Ma Gubwa's clothes? An Yuanming sect disciple said excitedly. What? Elder Ma's clothes? So what? He once appeared in this mystic realm and was chased by vacant beasts. Isn't it normal for him to leave behind some pieces of clothing? Lu Wen frowned, feeling that there was nothing wrong. If that's the case, then it's fine. However, we also found some footprints nearby. We even found some auras left behind by Elder Ma Gubwa, as well as traces of martial mystical powers. We boldly guessed that Elder Ma might not be dead and is still alive in this mystic realm, and Yuanming sect disciple voiced out his guess. Impossible. Hearing that, Lu Wen retorted instinctively, Elder Ma and the others were trying to avoid the vacant beasts and accidentally encountered a spatial storm. They fell into the storm-forbidden zone and are already dead. How can he still be alive? Grand Elder, only Elder Ma said that. Who knows the truth? Since there are no witnesses, he can say whatever he wants. Moreover, spatial storms are extremely rare. How can one encounter one so easily? An Yuanming sect elder said in a low voice. However, if Elder Ma Gubwa isn't dead and is still alive in this mystic realm, why would he lie and say that he died and fell into a spatial storm? That doesn't make sense at all. Lu Wen couldn't figure it out and felt that it didn't make sense. Perhaps he discovered an unparalleled secret treasure in this mystic realm that is extremely beneficial to him. He was worried that he would be discovered when he returned to the sect. That's why he lied and said that he accidentally fell into a spatial storm and died. An elder guessed, after he digested this secret treasure and converted it into his own strength, he returned to the Yuanming sect and said that he escaped by luck. Then no one would doubt him. That makes sense. Lu Wen's eyes shone brightly. To think that a secret treasure that could tempt a Dharma characteristic realm cultivator, forcing him to lie and fake his death. It seems like this secret treasure is very extraordinary. Even our fellow sect brothers don't believe it. To be honest, he was tempted. He couldn't wait to find Ma Gubwa's whereabouts and snatch that secret treasure. After all, it was obvious how precious it was for a Dharma characteristic realm cultivator to risk his life to obtain it. It was probably a treasure that was extremely useful even to a Thunder Tribulation realm cultivator. Grand Elder, I dare to guess that Elder Ma must have appeared nearby and fought with the vacant beasts. I hope that Grand Elder can use a secret technique to find his whereabouts. An elder said in a low voice. Chapter 1793. Half a day passed. Lu Wen and a few other elders of the Yuanming sect moved out secretly. They used a secret technique to lock onto Ma Gubwa's aura and tracked him for thousands of miles. Finally, they found their destination. Grand Elder, is this the place? The group of Yuanming sect elders came to a huge mountain. The surroundings were extremely barren. There were piles of rocks and there were no signs of human habitation. They didn't find anyone either. They looked at Lu Wen in confusion because they couldn't find any traces of Ma Gubwa. That's right, this is the place. Lu Wen was very certain. This Ma Gubwa is really cunning. He erases his aura everywhere and destroys all traces of himself. Ordinary people probably won't be able to discover him and let him escape. However, who am I, Luwen? I'm a lightning tribulation realm mighty figure who's proficient in tracking. No matter how this guy tries to escape, he can't escape from my grasp. I still managed to find his traces. Everyone please take a look. This place is very unusual. There's a high-level restriction array formation set up here. It distorts space and is invisible. It incorporates the 5 elements and reverses the 8 trigrams. That's why you guys didn't discover it and overlooked it. The many elders focused their eyes and carefully used their divine senses to probe the surroundings. In an instant their expressions changed. Clearly they sensed that something was very wrong with this place. As expected of the Grand Elder. There's indeed something wrong with this place. If not for Elder Lu's astonishing divine abilities, we really wouldn't have discovered that there's something fishy about this place and would have been tricked. Previously I thought that Ma Gubo was just a boorish fellow. I didn't expect him to be so well hidden. His attainments and restrictions and formations are actually so high. One really can't judge a book by its cover. It seems like his usual hot-tempered and easily angered image is fake. The real Ma Gubwa is a sinister, cunning and scheming person. The many elders were astonished. It seemed like this was the first time they recognized Ma Gubwa's character. Some of them had known Ma Gubwa for more than 10,000 years, but they had never seen this side of him. It was as if they had never truly gotten to know Ma Gubwa. I'd like to see what secrets Elder Ma is hiding. He actually went through so much trouble. Luwen was getting more and more curious. For such a shrewd person to do something like this, the secret must be rather shocking. The moment he finished speaking, he formed seals with both hands and immediately attacked. Dong. Immediately, waves of ripples appeared in the air. It was as if there was a huge wave in the air. One after another, restrictive spells appeared, each containing an infinite amount of murderous intent. You have some ability but it's useless. Luwen sneered. With a clang, he pulled out a 1-meter-long sword and slashed down horizontally. The sword froze the 13 continents. Dong. With just one strike, these layers of restrictions were immediately torn apart like tofu, and crackling sounds could be heard. The surrounding scenery changed, revealing its original appearance. Halfway up the mountain, a cave suddenly appeared, and a green-robed man stood in front of the cave with his hands clasped behind his back. He was calm and composed, outstanding, and had a dignified appearance. All the elders sucked in a breath of cold air. This person was none other than Ma Gubwa. A person who they thought was dead was now alive and well in front of them. Suddenly they felt a change in the situation. Elder Ma, you really didn't die. How have you been? Luwen squinted his eyes, revealing a trace of coldness as he stared at Ma Gubwa. This Ma Gubwa was actually Xia Ping in disguise, using the formless mask. As for Ma Gubwa's clothes, aura and so on, they were all left behind on purpose to lure this group of people. Anyway, the real Ma Gubwa was by his side, so it was too easy to take out such things. This was all part of Xia Ping's plan. If he took the initiative to show himself, this group of people would definitely be suspicious. But if they went through a lot of trouble and went through all kinds of speculations to find him, then they would definitely believe him. Elder Lu, what are you doing here? Xia Ping revealed a look of confusion. Ma Gubwa, don't play dumb. Don't you know why we're here? A black-robed elder shouted, staring at Xia Ping. That's right. Your fake death has been exposed. Stop pretending in front of us. A blue-robed elder sneered, as if he had seen through Xia Ping's disguise. You spent so much effort faking your death and hiding. Ma Gubwa, what secrets are you hiding? Tell us immediately and tell us the truth, a green-robed elder said coldly. Xia Ping blinked. Elders, I don't know what you're talking about. It's indeed my fault for faking my death and hiding. But this isn't something illegal, right? I just hate the various disputes and conflicts in the pugilistic world. That's why I wanted to find a place to temporarily enter seclusion and rest, away from the world. What's wrong with that? Continue acting. The group of Yuanming sect elders looked at Xia Ping in disdain. Only a ghost would be able to see through the world. If he had really seen through it, he wouldn't have chosen to settle down in this godforsaken place where there were no women, no delicacies, and no signs of human habitation. They increasingly felt that Ma Gubwa had a huge secret on him. Otherwise, why would he keep hiding it? Ma Gubwa. At that moment, Grand Elder Luwen spoke. You're an elder of our Yuanming sect and a capable general. It's naturally not a big deal for you to fake your death and hide. No one will care if you want to live in seclusion. However, you've brought so many Yuanming sect disciples out, but none of them have disappeared. This is a big deal. As a Grand Elder, I have to investigate this properly. Otherwise, wouldn't all those Yuanming sect disciples have died in vain? Elder Lu. Hearing that, Xiaoping seemed to reveal a hint of panic. He said, "The deaths of those Yuanming sect disciples have nothing to do with me. They all died to the spatial storms. The reason why I didn't die was only because I was lucky and managed to escape." Seeing Xiaoping like this, Lu Wen felt even more smug. Thinking that he had something on Xiaoping, he laughed coldly and said, "You make it sound nice, but it's hard to say if these words are true or not. You'd better follow me back to the sect and continue investigating. Of course, what happens to you will depend on your performance." There was a hint of threat in his tone. It was clear that he was telling Xiaoping that as long as he cooperated, everyone would be happy. The deaths of those Yuanming sect disciples were nothing and would be treated as nothing more than a fart. However, if Ma Gubwa didn't cooperate, it would be very unpleasant. He could do whatever he wanted to Ma Gubwa. After all, he was a Grand Elder with immense authority. It was too easy for him to frame someone. Chapter 1794. What? Hearing this, the elders of the Yuanming sect perked up. The real show was finally here. Didn't they spend so much effort to find out this secret? They immediately listened attentively, including Lu Wen, the Grand Elder. "Oh, tell me about it." Lu Wen pretended to be calm, appearing nonchalant as he stood with his hands behind his back. "I found the Rainbow Divine Stone," Xiaoping said calmly. "Rainbow Divine Stone?" The elders were dumbfounded. Their eyes widened as they stared at Xiaoping. What seven-colored god stone? Could it be the priceless seven-colored god stone that's the main material used to refine a sacred artifact? Lu Wen, who was still pretending to be calm, turned pale and could not help but ask repeatedly. Such a treasure was too shocking. Even sages would be tempted, let alone ordinary people like them. This was a treasure that could rival a country. If someone found a rainbow divine stone and went to exchange it with a sage, the sage would bestow a country for you to rule. From there, you would become a king and rule over countless planets. If you didn't want to be a king, you could also exchange all kinds of precious treasures with the sage. It wouldn't be a problem for you to obtain longevity pills that could extend your life. After all, that was the value of the Rainbow Divine Stone. "That's right, it's this material." Xiaoping nodded. "Where is it? Could it be that you've obtained this seven-colored divine stone?" Lu Wen immediately asked. He almost asked Ma Gubwa to hand it over immediately. Only a Thunder Retribution Realm expert like him was qualified to obtain such a treasure. Before Xiaoping could speak, the space beside him suddenly fluctuated and distorted. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately, figures appeared nearby, emitting powerful auras. There was no lack of Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. These people were the elders of the Ancient Moon Sect, Tianjian Sect, Shantian Sect, Juntian Sect, and other forces. They followed Lu Wen and the others here and hid in the surroundings. Originally, they wanted to continue hiding. However, when they heard the words Rainbow Divine Stone, they couldn't hold it in anymore. All of them took the initiative to reveal their positions. "Why are you all here?" The faces of Lu Wen and the others immediately became extremely ugly. Their faces turned green and they could not help but clench their fists. With this group of people here, it was likely that they would not be able to monopolize everything. "Haha, Lu Wen, you're really too petty. You actually didn't share such a secret with us. If we hadn't sent people to keep an eye on you at all times and saw you sneaking out of the camp, we wouldn't have known that Ma Gubwa was still alive, and that he was even hiding such a shocking secret." The Grand Elder of the Guyu sect laughed cruelly. "Lu Wen, it's better for everyone to be happy than to be happy alone. The Rainbow Divine Stone is a supreme treasure. Aren't you afraid of being stuffed to death by trying to hog it all for yourself?" The Great Elder of the Heavenly Mirror sect sneered. He clearly wanted a piece of the pie. "That's right. Everyone who sees it has a share. We're all brothers of life and death. You actually want to cast us aside to obtain the supreme treasure. You've really disappointed me," the Shantian sect's Grand Elder said. "In any case, we must definitely take part in this matter. We can't let your Yuanming sect reap all the benefits. No matter what, it won't be justifiable." The Great Sky sect's Grand Elder's words were very domineering. Hearing this, Lu Wen's expression remained gloomy. He also knew that since this matter had been discovered by the other sects, his plan was completely ruined. There was no way he could hog it all for himself. He was extremely vexed. He had clearly been very secretive, but he didn't expect the news to still be leaked. When he returned to the Yuanming sect, he would definitely reorganize the entire Yuanming sect. Otherwise, the entire sect would really be like a sieve, and no news would be able to be hidden. However, Lu Wen would never have thought that no matter how he tried to hide the news, it would definitely be leaked. This was because Xia Ping was the one who did it. Naturally, he wouldn't let the Yuan Ming sect monopolize it. If he didn't trick these few sects into joining him, how would he be able to carry out the next step of his plan? Now that all the forces were here, it was time for the show to begin. Alright, we're all brothers. Naturally, I can't just leave everyone without any benefits. That's great. Elder Ma, tell us everything you know. Where is the Rainbow Divine Stone? Is it in your hands? Lu Wen's heart was bleeding as he said this. It was as if a few pieces of his flesh had been cut off. However, the elders of the other sects had joined forces to force him to abdicate. He had no choice but to lower his head. Otherwise, if they angered the other sects, they would be doomed. I didn't get the Rainbow Divine Stone, and it's not in my hands. Xia Ping spread his hands, indicating that he didn't get the Rainbow Divine Stone at all. It's because it's in a super spatial stone mineral vein. It's surrounded by a large number of vacant bright beast kings, and I can't break through it all. Moreover, if I had gotten the Rainbow Divine Stone, I would have left this damn place long ago. Why would I continue to stay here? Hearing this, the elders present nodded. They also believed Xia Ping's words. If Xia Ping had gotten the Rainbow Divine Stone, it was impossible for him to continue staying here. Running away would be the best plan. Where is that super mineral vein? Lu Wen asked. It's not far from here. Xia Ping said, in order to get the Rainbow Divine Stone, I spent a lot of time digging an underground tunnel from this place. It connects to the deepest part of the mineral vein, and it can avoid the vacant bright beast detection. He pointed at the cave. This underground tunnel was dug by golden slimes, and it could connect to the deepest part of the mineral vein. There really is an underground tunnel, and it's really deep. It seems like you spent a lot of effort to get the Rainbow Divine Stone. An elder immediately went over to investigate, and as expected, he found an underground tunnel. Even if a La Phase realm expert had deep magic power, it would still take a lot of effort to dig an underground tunnel. What's the point of spending effort? In the end, it's all for someone else. Xia Ping revealed a very unwilling look. Elder Ma, don't be so emotional. You discovered the existence of the seven-colored divine stone, which is also a great contribution. After we obtain these treasures, I guarantee that you will also have a share. Even if you don't have any contribution, you have worked hard. Lu Wen made an empty promise to appease Xia Ping. Anyway, bragging didn't cost anything. When the time came, they could just casually give Ma Gubwa some spatial stones and send him away. They would still get most of the benefits, and it would be good if the others could get some scraps. What are we waiting for? Hurry up and get the Rainbow Divine Stone. Many elders couldn't wait anymore. Let's go. Lu Wen waved his hand. Chapter 1795. What an amazing underground tunnel. It seems like Elder Ma really put in a lot of effort. Everyone walked into the underground tunnel and realized that it was really huge. It was over 1,000 kilometers long and a few thousand meters deep. Even so, it didn't collapse. Such a huge project must have taken a lot of effort. This was like a foolish old man moving a mountain. Luckily, you spent so much effort, and in the end all the benefits were taken by others. Life really isn't in your hands. Xia Ping chuckled. Hearing these unhappy voices, Lu Wen and the others completely ignored them. Instead, they felt happy deep down. This fellow had paid such a huge price, and they were the ones who took the fruits. Was there anything better than this? The happiness of life was built on the pain of others. So, not long after, they advanced quickly and finally reached the deepest part of the underground tunnel. They came to the huge space where the seven-colored god stone was. They were only a wall away from the underground space. It really is the seven-colored god stone. Elder Ma didn't lie to us. An elder used his divine sense to sense that the seven-colored god stone was standing in the middle of the underground cave. It gave off a seven-colored glow and looked extremely magical. Immediately, many people became excited. Their eyes lit up like jackals and wolves. They wanted nothing more than to snatch the heavenly wonderstone and make it their own. Wait, don't be rash. This place is the lair of the empty bright beasts. There are hundreds and thousands of empty bright beast kings in the surroundings. We should think of a way to snatch this divine stone without alarming these beast kings. Lu Wen spoke cautiously. He sensed that there was a dense expanse of emptiness beasts living in this underground cave, and there were countless of them that caused one's scalp to go numb. If they were to go berserk, then it would simply be a calamity. That's right, we do need to think about this for the long term. Many elders nodded and felt that this was a mature suggestion. Even if they wanted to snatch the treasure, they had to reduce their own losses to the lowest level. Think about it for the long term? When Xiaoping heard these words, he was filled with disdain. How could he give these people a chance to think about it for the long term? Since he had brought them here, then the plan could begin. Illusion, one thought, one world. Hung in an instant, with Xiaoping's body as the center, the surrounding 10,000 kilometers were covered in illusions. They merged into the void silently, and it was as if an illusory space had appeared in this place. However, no one could sense it. It was as if a single breath had changed their mental perception. This was the power of the true insight of illusions. When the level of illusions reached a certain level, even a lightning tribulation realm cultivator would not be able to sense what was happening. Xiaoping's body flashed and he immediately left. The surrounding sect elders did not sense anything, thinking that Xiaoping had stayed behind. They did not know that it was just an illusion, and of course they did not sense anything either because the illusion power had blinded their senses. Whoosh! In the next second he passed through the wall and arrived at the underground cave. At this moment, the vacant beast kings did not notice that a stranger had invaded their territory. They were still lying on the ground lazily like salted fish. Without hesitation, Xiaoping's figure flickered and instantly arrived at the west side of the underground cave. He grabbed the seven-colored divine stone with one hand. When the rainbow divine stone sensed the invasion of an unfamiliar power, it immediately resisted instinctively. A terrifying spatial ripple burst out from its body, bombarding in all directions and condensing into a solid substance. Dong. The illusory world that had been set up in the surroundings was immediately shattered by the spatial ripple. It cracked like glass, revealing the real world. At this moment, Lu Wen and the other vacant beast kings suddenly realized that there was an unfamiliar figure in the underground cave. He was grabbing the seven-colored divine stone with one hand. Damn it, Wu Wudi, that's Wu Wudi. Damn it, why is he here? The Shintian sect's grand elder immediately screamed. This guy was a wanted criminal of the Shintian sect. With his portrait, even if he turned to dust, he would still recognize this kid. No wonder he didn't appear when we set up the trap. Did he also find this underground mine and want the seven-colored divine stone? The Heaven Reflection sect's grand elder immediately remembered what had happened. Stop him immediately. We cannot let him get the seven-colored divine stone. Even if we feed it to the dogs, we cannot let this bastard get any benefits, the Ancient Moon sect's grand elder shouted angrily. When he saw Xiaoping appear, he recalled all the things that had happened before. It was really a combination of old and new hatred. Previously, they had been played by this bastard and a large number of spatial stones had been taken away. Now he wanted to snatch their seven-colored divine stone. How could this be? Even Buddha had anger. Don't worry, this kid is dead. He actually dared to rush in to snatch the seven-colored divine stone. Isn't he courting death? Later, the angry vacant beast kings will tear this guy into pieces. The Great Sky sect's grand elder sneered and looked like he was watching a good show. Human, there is a human in this place? Damned human invader. How dare you steal our clan's god stone? You're courting death. Kill him. Kill this damned human immediately. The Empyrean beast kings roared, unable to restrain their anger. They discovered that there were intruders in their lair and even tried to steal their race's treasures. This was something they could not tolerate. Immediately, a terrifying spatial fluctuation brewed from their bodies, almost distorting the surrounding space. Waves of tyrannical aura emerged, shaking the void and emitting endless killing intent. The surrounding cultivators were all trembling. It seemed that under such killing intent, they were like a small boat in a storm, in danger of capsizing at any time. However, at this moment, Xiaoping revealed a mysterious smile and turned to look at where Lu Wen and the others were. With a swoosh, the seven-colored divine stone in his hand immediately flew out like a cannonball. Dong. In the next second, the seven-colored divine stone penetrated the mountain wall and the surrounding rocks shattered. Lu Wen and the others immediately appeared and were exposed in front of the vacant beast kings. The seven-colored divine stone also fell into the hands of the Shintian sect's grand elder who was closest to it. At this moment he was still a little dumbfounded and did not know what had happened. This was simply a blessing from the heavens. He did not know how the seven-colored divine stone fell into his hands. Brother, I will leave the rest to you. My mission is complete. Take the seven-colored divine stone away quickly and do not delay, Xiaoping shouted at Lu Wen and the others. Then he immediately escaped and hid his aura. What brother? Who the hell is his brother? What kind of nonsense is this brat spouting? Could it be that he has lost his mind? The Shintian sect's grand elder cursed and felt that Wu Wudi was crazy. Chapter 1796. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? The Shintian sect's supreme elder panicked. A cultivator beside him signaled with his eyes to look outside. This? The Shintian sect's supreme elder wasn't an idiot. Seeing such a gaze, he was enlightened. He turned his head and his entire body stiffened as if he had been petrified, because he immediately felt hundreds and thousands of killing intents rushing towards him like a tidal wave. All of them were targeting him, condensing in the air and causing his hair to stand on end. As expected, this human has an accomplice. He even wants his accomplice to take the divine stone away. He must be courting death. Kill them all. Kill them all to scare the monkeys. All invaders must die. The vacant beast kings roared in rage. They were furious like never before and couldn't control themselves at all. Such an action would destroy the peace they had enjoyed for millions of years. They couldn't tolerate such a thing. Immediately, the group of vacant beast kings roared towards the sky. Terrifying spatial energy brewed in their bodies like countless spatial runes gathered together and exploded. The surrounding cultivators felt as if the god of death had descended upon them. Their primordial spirits trembled. Misunderstanding. This is definitely a misunderstanding. I'm not close to that bastard, not close at all. He is framing me, harming me. You must believe in my innocence. If you don't believe me, I can return the 7-colored divine stone to you. The Shintian sect's supreme elder was so scared that he peed his pants. Being targeted by thousands of vacant beast kings, his life was as cold as ice. His hatred towards Xiaoping immediately reached a peak. He gritted his teeth so hard that he almost broke them. If it wasn't for that shameless bastard, he wouldn't have fallen to such a state. But no matter how he explained, the surrounding vacant beast kings didn't care. In their eyes, this was just a quarrel between ants. No matter what the truth of the matter was, as long as they killed all the invaders, they would be able to take back the 7-colored god stone. Everything else was just minor details and not worth mentioning. Spatial cannon. In an instant, the hollow bright beast kings roared and used their innate mystique, space cannon. This was a destructive attack that gathered the power of space within their bodies. With this attack, even a star would be blasted into pieces. Its power was boundless. Hundreds and thousands of space cannons attacked. It was not inferior to the main cannons of a super space battleship. This was a battle that could destroy a galaxy. It was earth-shattering. Run. Lu Wen and the others felt their hair stand on end and were scared half to death. They couldn't care less about the mysterious Heaven Sect's great elder and had no intention of helping. In order to survive, they fled in all directions to avoid this attack. On the other hand, the profound Heaven Sect's supreme elder was unable to escape at all because the spatial cannon had locked onto his body. No matter where he ran, he would not be able to escape. No, 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 don't kill me, don't kill me. I'm the supreme elder of the Dark Heaven Sect, a mighty figure at the peak of the Thunder Retribution realm, a supreme existence that has the potential to become a saint. You bastards, you damned feathered animals, how dare you kill me? The profound Heaven Sect's Grand Elder roared. He was extremely unwilling to accept this outcome. He used everything he had, taking out magic treasures one by one and throwing them out. He also activated his defensive abilities in an attempt to block this attack. However, it was of no use. One after another, the spatial cannon blasted towards him, tearing through the void. It directly shattered many of the magic treasures on his body and disintegrated them into molecules. His defensive abilities were also useless. He was even more fragile than tofu. With a boom, his entire body shattered and turned into a pile of meat paste. Only his Yuanshin was left. Wu Wudi, you bitch, you shameless bastard. How dare you plot against me like this? I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. I'll wait for the day you go to hell. I'm the profound Heaven Sect's Grand Elder. I have a bright future ahead of me and a lifespan of 50,000 years. How can I die just like this? I can't accept this, I can't accept this. The profound Heaven Sect's Grand Elder was extremely unwilling and resentful. However, under the intense spatial fluctuations, his Yuan Shen was instantly annihilated. The place where he stood was immediately blasted to the ground, creating a terrifying hole. Rubble flew in all directions, creating a powerful shockwave. It was as if a super earthquake had occurred. Many sect elders couldn't dodge in time and were all severely injured. Some unlucky ones who were closer were directly turned into meat paste, following in the profound Heaven Sect's Grand Elder's footsteps. Shameless bastard. That despicable Wu Wudi actually dared to do such a thing. The profound Heaven Sect will not let you off. Just you wait, you shameless bastard will not have a good ending. When the profound Heaven Sect's elder saw this, He was so angry that his body trembled. This was the Profound Heaven sect's Grand Elder, a peak tribulation lightning powerhouse. Who knew how much time and resources it would take to raise such a powerhouse? But now, such a powerhouse was gone just like that. This was an unbearable loss for the Profound Heaven sect. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and run. We've already been targeted by this group of vacant beasts. They want to kill us all. An elder was trembling in fear. He didn't even have time to curse at Wu Wuti. This was because he sensed that because of this attack, the underground world within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers had been shaken. Countless vacant beasts seemed to have received the Vacant Beast King's call and were rushing over from all directions. Whoosh! At that moment, Lu Wen waved his hand. The rainbow divine stone that had flown into a corner due to the aftershock of the attack instantly landed in his hand. It shone with a rainbow light. Lu Wen, are you crazy? You still want to snatch the rainbow divine stone at a time like this? Aren't you afraid that the Vacant Beast Kings will kill you? An elder beside him cursed. He felt that Lu Wen was too greedy. He still wanted to snatch the rainbow divine stone at a time like this. This was a classic case of someone who valued money more than his life. Even if we don't take the rainbow divine stone, the beast kings will still come to kill us. We might as well take the rainbow divine stone and gain some benefits. Otherwise, if we leave without getting anything, we'll be suffering a double loss. Lu Wen sneered. No matter what, he was definitely going to get the rainbow divine stone. At that moment, the many beast kings sensed that the rainbow divine stone had once again fallen into the hands of the humans. They became even more furious and charged at the humans. Hurry up and run. The Yuanming sect and the other elders were in a panic. They couldn't care less about anything else. They quickly fled towards the underground tunnel, trying to rush out of the ground and avoid the pursuit of the beast kings. They were like stray dogs now, fleeing in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. The vacant beast kings were enraged. They chased them all the way, causing the underground world to collapse and the seas to dry up. Many cultivators couldn't escape in time and were killed on the spot. At that moment, the entire underground mine was almost empty. A large number of vacant beasts moved out to chase after Lu Wen and the others. Whoosh! Chapter 1797. They are finally all gone. Xiaoping smiled. He had spent so much effort to let the empty light beast and Yuanming sect fight. From the looks of it, the plan was really successful. Little gold, come out. Swallow all the spatial stones in this place and dig them clean. He immediately let the golden slime appear. Slime. The golden slime was very excited. With a swoosh it appeared. It sensed that there were countless delicacies in this place. Rumble, hearing Xiaoping's words, it immediately merged into the mine. Its entire body turned into a golden liquid that expanded in all directions and slowly wriggled. Wherever it went, a large number of spatial stones disappeared at a visible rate. As there was no empty light beast to stop it, the golden slime could freely swallow without being disturbed. The empty light beast king probably wasn't interested in these things. The rainbow god stone was their most important thing. Master, the rainbow god stone has been snatched by those people. What should we do? The green cow was worried. It's okay. How can they escape so easily? Let them try to escape for a period of time. Xiaoping was very calm. He had left his spiritual imprint on the rainbow god stone long ago. No matter where the rainbow god stone went, he would know. Therefore, he wasn't worried that the rainbow god stone would be snatched away. I see. Hearing this, the green cow was at ease. Just little gold alone isn't enough. Seems like I need a helper. Menglu, come out too. Xiaoping touched his chin and waved his hand. He immediately called out Tan Menglu, the glutton. Stupid master, why did you call me out? Can't you see that I am eating? Tan Menglu opened her eyes wide and looked at Xiaoping angrily. Her face was greasy and dirty. She grabbed a lamb leg with her left hand and a piece of beef with her right. She ate happily. There are many spatial stones here. Help me eat them, but you can't swallow them all. I have great use for them. Xiaoping pointed at the mine. Spatial stones? When Tan Menglu heard this, her eyes lit up. As expected of master. Where did you find so many delicious things? This is top-notch food. Is it destined that the heavens want me to eat my fill? With a smack, Xiaoping knocked her little head. These spatial stones are all mine. You're only allowed to eat a part of them. If you dare to eat all of them, I'll punish you by not eating for 3 days. What? You're not allowed to eat for 3 days. Are you a demon? A demon? Tan Menglu's eyes widened. She looked at Xiaoping as though she was looking at a super demon. What kind of torture was it to make a Taotai starve for 3 days? Cut the crap and get to work. Xia Ping's eyes widened. He looked like a fiend, like a landlord in ancient times driving away his serfs. Damn it. Tan Minglu had no choice but to be eaten alive. After all, her food was in the hands of this hateful demon. 1 day later. The elders of the Ancient Moon sect, the Shantian sect, the Yuanming sect, and the Great Sky sect were being chased by the Beast Kings all over the world. They wanted to board the battleship and leave this place quickly, but there was no chance at all. Many elders died in battle, torn to pieces by the furious Beast Kings. Even some of the supreme elders were heavily injured, coughing up blood incessantly, struggling at death's door. This also made them extremely resentful towards Xia Ping, the instigator of all this. At this moment, they had avoided the Beast King's pursuit and were hiding in a remote cave to rest temporarily. It's all that Wu Wudi's fault. If it weren't for that bastard stirring shit up, we would have safely obtained the Rainbow Divine Stone and left without anyone knowing. It's all that bastard's fault that the situation has deteriorated to this extent. A Shantian sect elder gritted his teeth, extremely resentful towards Xia Ping. Once we leave this godforsaken place, we must hunt this bastard down. We must skin him alive and pull out his tendons. Our Shantian sect's supreme elder died at the hands of this bastard. There's not even a corpse left. Many Shantian sect elders hated Wu Wudi to the core. That detestable Wu Wudi. He's the public enemy of the universe. He has nothing better to do all day and he harms others and himself. I will never live under the same sky as him in this lifetime. The Ancient Moon sect elder was extremely resentful. After being tricked by this guy again and again, even a clay figurine would be angry. Don't worry, our 5 sects are on the same side. We're all sects of the northern universe. This kid is the public enemy. Once you cover my escape, you'll definitely put out a bounty for him. The person who spoke was the Yuanming sect's supreme elder Lu Wen. He was not in good condition at the moment because he had the Rainbow Divine Stone on him. He was heavily injured by the Beast Kings and coughed up blood incessantly. Fortunately, he was proficient in life-saving techniques and protective mystiques, so he had barely survived. Moreover, we've gained a lot this time. We've obtained quite a number of space stones and this Rainbow Divine Stone. When we get out, it'll be enough to make up for all our losses. I won't mistreat everyone. Lu Wen patted his chest, looking like a leader. Get out? How do we get out? We're being chased by the Beast Kings. There's no way out. There's no way out. A Shantian sect elder said helplessly. That's all right. I've already informed the sect headquarters. In half a day they'll send a large number of elites over with countless warships. This force is enough to bring us away safely. Lu Wen was full of confidence. I didn't expect the Yuanming sect to arrive so quickly after informing the headquarters. Our sect is too far away from this place. Distant water can't quench our present thirst. The people from the Shantian sect shook their heads. Their sect was too far away from this place. Even if reinforcements arrived, it would take several days. There was no way they could make it in time. Strange, where did Elder Ma Gubwa go? Someone asked curiously. Ma Gubwa was nowhere to be seen. I'm not sure. Maybe they got separated. After all, it was chaotic just now. Who would notice where he went? An elder shook his head. He did not care about such a small matter. After all, Ma Gubwa was just a Dharma plane elder. He could not affect the overall situation, so not many people noticed his whereabouts. Let's rest for a while and recover some strength. Later we'll break out and leave this godforsaken place. Lu Wen said in a low voice. Everyone nodded. Dong. All of a sudden an air-piercing sound rang out, tearing through the void. With lightning speed, a brick ruthlessly smashed into Lu Wen's head. Ah! Lu Wen screamed. He did not know what had happened at all. He immediately saw stars and his mind went blank. He foamed at the mouth and fainted just like that. Who's there? Chapter 1798. It's you, Wu Wudi. You bastard, how dare you show yourself? A Shantian sect elder shouted. He realized that the person who had knocked Elder Lu unconscious with a brick was Wu Wudi. The enemy he had been thinking about day and night had actually appeared in front of him. Wu Wudi? Everyone was shocked. Wu Wudi's appearance was beyond their expectations. They did not expect Wu Wudi to still dare to appear at this time. Furthermore, he was so brazen. He was really arrogant. If he didn't completely look down on them, how would he dare to knock Elder Lu Wen out with a brick in front of everyone at this time? They had been completely looked down upon. Everyone, how have you been? Thank you for bringing the Rainbow Divine Stone out. I'm very grateful. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely repay all of you. Xiaoping smiled slightly. He deftly removed an interspatial ring from Lu Wen's body. It contained the Rainbow Divine Stone and a large number of Dharma treasures on Lu Wen's body. Stop, thief. Put down your filthy hands. How dare you knock Elder Lu unconscious with a brick in front of us? You even tried to snatch his Dharma treasures. Do you think we're invisible? One of the Yuanming sect elders shouted angrily, unable to restrain his anger. He felt that this kid was looking down on them too much. He ignored the group of elders and swaggered around to snatch their treasures. How much did he look down on them before he would let it go? If they allowed this kid to escape today, they would really be too ashamed to face anyone. How could they continue living in this world? They might as well kill themselves with a piece of tofu. Attack, kill this kid. That's great. If he dares to appear, kill him. Everyone, let's join forces and kill this bastard. I've tolerated this bastard for a long time. This is a heaven-sent opportunity. Wu Wudi, today is the day you die. All the elders sneered. They surrounded Xiaoping, leaving no space for him to escape. At the same time, they circulated the power of their supernatural powers in an attempt to kill him together. Everyone, why are you so angry? Anger is not the solution. Only by being peaceful can we make money, and only by being harmonious can we develop. Xiaoping sighed and tried to dissuade them. He had a compassionate expression on his face. Bullshit. Although it can't solve the problem, it can get rid of a wanted criminal like you. Wu Wudi, your evil days are over. Go to hell. All the elders were furious. They did not give Xiaoping a chance to speak and joined forces to kill him. However, before they could do anything, Xiaoping gently waved his hand and a scarlet flame burst out from his body. In an instant, the scarlet flame spread out in all directions. Immediately, with him as the center, a radius of dozens of miles was enveloped by the flame. Not good. Quick, hide. Son of a bitch. That's the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect. God damn it. Why does he have the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect on him? A Guyu sect elder screamed. He was the closest to Xiaoping and was instantly engulfed by the fire. In an instant, his entire body turned into a human-shaped torch. He was covered in the karmic fire of the Buddhist sect. The karmic karma on his body burned, and even his primordial spirit was burning. In just a few breaths of time, the ancient moon sect elder was burnt to ashes, leaving not even his bones behind. Everyone's hair stood on end. They could not help but scatter in all directions. They saw that the flame was burning with Wu Wudi at the center. It seemed to form a huge red lotus that covered dozens of miles. It was as if there were countless Buddhas chanting in the void. Scriptures appeared and golden lotuses appeared on the ground. Retreat. Retreat. You can't fight Wudi's Wudi karmic fire. The more sins you have, the faster you die. Damn it. Wudi karmic fire is used to kill evil criminals. What? Why is Wu Wudi able to control Wudi karmic fire but not burn himself to death? The heavens are blind. A villain can control Wudi karmic fire. Is there any justice in this? All the elders were scared out of their wits and fled. They had been able to advance to their current realm because they had fought for resources and territory. Which one of them had not killed? Which one of them had not sinned? If their karmic fire could be seen, they would all be glowing with red light. As a result, the karmic fire of Buddhism was the greatest bane to them. Once they came into contact with it, they would not be able to escape from the terrifying karmic fire until their souls were completely incinerated. This was an extremely vicious flame that killed without leaving a trace. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The elders were all like stray dogs. They fled out of the cave, wishing their parents had given them more legs. None of them wanted to avenge Lu Wen, nor did they want to kill Wu Wudi. They only wanted to run for their lives. They wanted to run as far as possible. Lu Wen was extremely lucky. He had fainted at Xiaoping's feet, so he had not been corroded by Wudi karmic fire. He had escaped unscathed. Go. Seeing the elders flee, Xiaoping did not plan to chase after them. There was no time. He sensed that the spatial tunnel outside the mystic realm was becoming unstable. He estimated that the spatial tunnel would completely collapse after a while. The mystic realm would also fall into the depths of the dimensional space. If they did not escape now, they would fall into the endless dimensional space and never be able to return. Therefore, he left the stone vein in advance and let the golden slime and Tan Minglu leave immediately. However, even though they had only devoured for a day, the golden slime and Tao Tai were extremely terrifying devouring creatures. It was enough for them to devour more than half of the spatial stone vein. Now, inside the space of his mountain river pearl, there was a pile of spatial stones that were as tall as 1,000 jiang. They were simply piled up like a mountain, filled with dense spatial energy, almost condensing into a substance. Whoosh! Xia Ping's figure flickered, and he immediately left the mystic realm. What's going on? That villain Wu Wudi did not chase after us. Instead, he ran away? Someone saw Xia Ping's departing figure. Oh no, this spatial tunnel is already unstable. It will completely collapse in 2 hours. We have to run as soon as possible. Otherwise we will be trapped here forever. No wonder that bastard ran so fast. An elder's expression changed. He sensed that there was a problem with the spatial tunnel. Retreat, retreat immediately. There are no more treasures for us to take. Hurry and run. The elders also decided to flee immediately. If they continued to stay here, they might never be able to leave again. They all sped up and fled this place. Chapter 1799. A few days later, the Northern Universe was in an uproar. The Yuanming sect, the Ancient Moon sect, the Heavenly Mirror sect, the Shintian sect, and the Great Sky sect jointly issued a wanted order to hunt down the wanted criminal, Wu Wudi. At the same time, they offered a huge bounty. This incident shook the Northern Universe. This was the first time the 5 sects of the Northern Universe had jointly issued a bounty for a criminal. It also caused countless cultivators to discuss and guess what had happened. Wu Wudi, that guy has appeared again. What earth-shattering thing did he do this time? He actually made the 5 sects chase after him and issue a kill order. Someone heard the news. To be honest, he was numb. Wu Wudi caused trouble everywhere. It was as if he had offended all the sects in the entire universe. There was nothing that he did not dare to do. My aunt's father's friend is in the Yuanming sect. It said that the Yuanming sect found a mystic realm rich in spatial stones. I didn't expect to meet Wu Wudi. Someone divulged some information. The result is obvious. This bastard is despicable and shameless. He plotted against the elders of the 5 great sects, causing them to suffer great losses and being chased by the vacant Bright Beast King. In the end, that bastard obtained a large number of spatial stones, but the 5 sects did not get anything. They died. One can imagine how angry the upper echelons of the 5 sects were. They wanted to kill him. Fuck, this kid is ruthless. He actually caused the 5 sects to suffer so badly. What kind of scheme did he use? I'm not sure. He didn't say the details. I guess the elders of the 5 sects felt that it was too embarrassing, so they hid the matter. They couldn't embarrass themselves. I heard that the Yuanming sect's Grand Elder Lu Wen was the most miserable. He seemed to have been hit by Wu Wudi with a stick. His brain has problems and his consciousness is blurred. Even his treasures have been snatched away. He's completely penniless. Now he's furious in the sect. He's extremely irritable and he's clamoring to kill Wu Wudi. Sai, Grand Elder Lu Wen was also a gentleman in the past. It's all because of this bastard Wu Wudi that he drove him crazy. He's completely heartless. The sects of the Northern Cosmos are all fierce and ferocious. I didn't expect them to be defeated by Wu Wudi and end up like this. How sad. Is there no one who can control this kid? Everyone discussed animatedly and sighed endlessly. I heard that not only did the 5 major sects lose their spatial stones, but even the Rainbow Divine Stone was taken away by Wu Wudi. Someone suddenly revealed a big secret. What? Rainbow God Stone? You must be joking. Even a saint would drool over such a treasure. That's right, it's a treasure of this level. The news was leaked by the 5 great sections. How could they take it lying down after losing such a treasure? It would be strange if they didn't retaliate. I see, so that's how it is. I reckon that the elders of the 5 great sects must be incredibly angry after losing such a peerless treasure. No matter how many people died, it would be impossible for them to suffer such a great loss. However, this kid has such a treasure on him. I'm afraid there are quite a few people who have their eyes on him. Needless to say, there are already quite a few universe-level mercenaries and peerless demons who are eager to find Wu Wudi's whereabouts and kill him for his treasure. Right now, Wu Wudi is like a boss in a game. He has countless treasures on him. Whoever can kill him first will obtain countless treasures and become rich overnight. Many people's eyes were red with greed. They wanted nothing more than to find Wu Wudi immediately. This was because killing Wu Wudi would not only earn a bounty from the 5 great sects of the Northern Cosmos, but also from the Western Cosmos, Southern Cosmos, and even the Eastern Cosmos. This kind of bounty was very shocking and it made people salivate. There were also the various treasures on him, which were even more tempting. Countless old demons were eager to make a move. They secretly inquired about Wu Wudi and wanted to kill him. Eastern Cosmos, Jianghu sect. Qiushu, Suji, Sumei, Jiangyaru, Nangong Wu, Churong, and Yuchichi had already gathered together. They had also quickly heard the news. What did this bad guy do? He actually went to the northern cosmos? Churong was speechless. There won't be any problems, right? It's not a good thing to offend the 5 great sections. Jiangyaru was a little worried about Xiaoping's safety. Worry my ass. He's always been the one bullying others. I've never seen anyone bully him. That bastard is the worst human I've ever seen. Yuchichi said with disdain. I agree he's a bad egg. Suji nodded. Let's not worry about this bad guy. Let's talk about our own matters. Recently I found a tourist planet. The scenery on it is very beautiful and there are many delicacies. We can travel there. She changed the topic and excitedly discussed tourism and delicacies. Northern Cosmos. Qiushu, Nangong Wu and Sumei's expressions were very complicated, because their original sect, Mingyue Court, was in the northern universe. But now that something like this had happened, they had all become wanted criminals and could not return. But perhaps this was also a good thing. Somewhere in the southern cosmos. Tu Linglong and Qing Wan were both in the demon temple. Both of them had solemn expressions. Sister Qing Wan, the next mission of the demon temple is about to begin. It's extremely difficult. It's to determine the true successor of the demon temple. I'm afraid it'll be very difficult for just the 2 of us. We need to find a trustworthy and capable helper. Tu Linglong said in a deep voice. The demon temple was a mysterious artifact. It had countless clones and existed to cultivate demon sages. The demon temple in the cloud world was just one of them. In fact, there are many demonic temples in the universe. These demonic temples will also nurture some descendants to become demonic sage candidates. However, since they were demons, they were full of blood and cruelty. They worshipped the law of the jungle. The demon temple was like breeding insects. They put many demon sages' successors together to fight each other. The one who could win would get the biggest benefit. The winner takes all. Trustworthy and capable person? It seems like there's no one else but that human. Qing Wan suddenly thought of Xiaoping. Although they had a lot of grievances with Xiaoping, they didn't have any deep hatred. In terms of ability, this human was also one of the best. Among the many creatures in the cloud world, no one could be compared to him. Of course, there were many experts outside the cloud world. But they didn't know those experts, so naturally they couldn't trust them. After thinking about it, only Xiaoping was the most suitable person. Although I'm very unwilling, this time we can only ask that human for help. But I don't know if he will refuse. Tu Linglong clenched her fist. This is actually a big opportunity. He probably won't refuse. Chapter 1800. A few days later. Xiaoping stayed on a primitive planet near planet Yanhuang, cultivating in seclusion. He felt that he could no longer suppress his cultivation that he had been suppressing for a long time. The Gaia energy that was originally hidden in the deepest part of his body suddenly gushed out like a mountain torrent. At this moment, his body was full of spiritual power. The spiritual power in the depths of his purple mansion had reached its peak. His 9 primordial spirits had almost reached the realm of perfection. Dong. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping's body shook, as if a certain bottleneck in his body had been completely broken. It was like water flowing when the conditions were right. Everything happened naturally. Late stage of the returning truth realm. He felt that he had finally broken through the middle stage of the returning truth realm and stepped into the next realm. This also caused his body to undergo earth-shaking changes. First, the 9 primordial spirits in his body had expanded by a lot. The spiritual power in the depths of the purple mansion kept rotating like a water drill, constantly expanding the space and the size of the purple mansion. Then the 9 primordial spirits also experienced great growth, constantly growing from a height of 100 zhang to a height of 100 zhang. This was like a small mountain, incomparably majestic and majestic. And the range of Xiaoping's divine sense also expanded crazily, expanding crazily millions of kilometers, even reaching hundreds of millions of kilometers. It was simply vast and boundless. Bang bang bang. When his divine sense power expanded to the extreme, the dimensional power in the depths of the void also seemed to be drawn down. Suddenly, a dimensional black hole appeared, transmitting a huge amount of dimensional energy. This energy was extremely rich, pouring down like a ladle, pouring into the deepest part of his body, causing every cell in his body to greedily absorb it. Comfortable. Xiaoping couldn't help but exclaim. He felt that the infusion of this energy was like the sweet dew after a long drought. And Xiaoping's body strength, speed, reaction speed, and so on were all rapidly increasing. At the same time, the golden crow of hell cells in his body were also rapidly unsealed. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, in the end, millions of golden crow of hell cells were unsealed. So far, he had awakened more than 20 million golden crow of hell cells. The flames in his body were even more intense, and thousands of golden crow of hell runes appeared, fusing into the depths of his blood. Boom! Xiaoping suddenly stood up, and a terrifying aura exploded out from his body. The mountain he had been cultivating in collapsed, and even the ground cracked. Cracking sounds could be heard. Vaguely, these auras seemed to solidify. The 9 primordial spirits almost rushed out from the depths of the Z Palace, as if they were about to break through the barrier and condense into Dharma forms between heaven and earth. He had a feeling that once he condensed the heaven and earth Dharma, he would definitely condense 9 heaven and earth Dharma. The power that would erupt from him would be boundless. However, the amount of essence needed to condense the 9 Supreme's dharmic idols was immeasurable. Ordinary sects could not afford it, and it was enough to bring down a small sect. Xiaoping felt that he was very close to the Dharma characteristic realm. His essence soul was already sufficiently powerful, surpassing all ordinary Dharma characteristic eminences. As long as he had enough essence energy in his body, he could immediately attempt to break through to the Dharma characteristic realm. Beep! At this moment, the system's voice sounded. Congratulations to the host for provoking the hatred of the 5 major sects of the Northern Universe. You have received 50 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard. 50 hatred crystals? Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. In addition to the previous hatred crystals, he had a total of 300 hatred crystals on him. This amount of hatred crystals was enough to exchange for a low-grade sage artifact. Of course, he wouldn't exchange for it. Good steel had to be used on a good blade. Moreover, he already had a lot of tyrannical magic treasures on him. Another sage artifact would just be icing on the cake, not a timely help. Little gold, have you also evolved? Suddenly, Xiaoping felt that the golden slime on his body seemed to have evolved. The aura on his body became illusory and filled with a rich spatial aura. Slime. Suddenly, the golden slime seemed to sense Xiaoping's thoughts. It immediately flew out of Xiaoping's body and flew in the air, condensing into a flying sword. This flying sword was transparent and emitted a terrifying golden gung qi. It contained supreme sharpness, as if it could even cut through space with a gentle slash. Unlike before, the sword condensed by the golden slime only contained incomparable sharpness, but after devouring a large number of space stones, it actually possessed spatial attributes. Whoosh! Xiaoping's thoughts moved, and the flying sword flew out in an instant. Suddenly, it became invisible and escaped into the void, merging with the surrounding spatial fluctuations. With a bang, the flying sword instantly cut a mountain in front of it in half, splitting it from the middle, and there was even no sound in it. This was simply an invisible sword, the strongest killer sword. If he controlled it with his mind, this flying sword could immediately fly out and silently behead a strong enemy. It was estimated that the other party's head would be cut off, and the other party wouldn't even know that they were dead. Kill. Xiaoping imbued his spiritual power and controlled the flying sword. In an instant, the flying sword immediately split into thousands of transparent sharp blades, blasting towards the distance. Dong dong dong. A series of transparent sharp blades blasted down, and in an instant, the land was smashed into pieces, the mountains were razed to the ground, the sword chi crisscrossed, and countless astonishing cracks appeared on the ground. It's so convenient. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He was very excited. He could use this flying sword with ease. The golden slime must have reached the level of a supreme-grade spirit weapon right now, and had even fused spatial attributes into it, making it equivalent to a half-step sage weapon. The power that it could unleash was simply unheard of. Slime. With a whoosh, the golden slime turned back into its original form, a soft, gelatinous ball. Its little head rubbed against Xiaoping, as if it was acting coquettishly to express its love. Not bad, well done. Xiaoping smiled and reached out to touch the golden slime's little head. With a thought, the golden slime immediately turned back into a collar, wrapping around his wrist. The reason why he pulled it back was because he could sense the fatigue coming from the slime's heart. It seemed that the golden slime had just evolved successfully and was a little tired. It wanted to rest and sleep. Wait, the pearl of mountain and river seems to have evolved successfully. All of a sudden, Xiaoping felt that the pearl of mountain and river on him seemed to be brewing with a thick spatial aura, and was growing stronger bit by bit. Chapter 1801. Master, it's a success. At this moment, the green ox's figure appeared in front of Xia Ping. At this moment, the green ox's figure was almost solid, as if it had a physical body. It emitted a powerful aura. Indistinctly, ancient green runes appeared on its body, as if they were supreme scriptures. Has the rainbow divine stone been digested? Xia Ping asked. Yes. The refining process was very smooth. After devouring the seven-colored divine stone, the bead of mountains and rivers has mostly recovered. Although it has yet to fully recover to its peak state, it already possesses the charm of a sacred artifact. The green ox was very excited. It felt that it had finally recovered the power of its peak. Whoosh! Immediately, a green bead appeared in front of Xia Ping. The bead spun in midair, and there seemed to be a chaotic vortex deep inside. It was unfathomable. Xia Ping reached out and felt that the pearl of mountain and river was indeed completely different from before. It emitted a rich spatial aura as if it had merged with the surrounding void. However, it was unique and had its own system. Boom! He immediately sent his divine sense into it. With a dong, he suddenly realized that the space inside the pearl of mountain and river had undergone a tremendous change. First, the volume of the pearl of mountain and river had increased. It was more than 10,000 times larger than before, as if there was an extra piece of land out of thin air. The land area alone was equivalent to the size of a star field. Of course, most of the land area was barren. There were no plants or animals, but the land was extremely fertile. It was all condensed from the 9 heavens growing soil. As long as Xia Ping wanted to, he could turn the land into a world of plants at any time. Not bad, the land area has expanded. Xia Ping was very satisfied. This way he could continue to expand the land area for crystal fragrant rice, golden corn and other spiritual plants, as well as many spiritual herbs, to produce more spiritual herbs and spiritual grains. Even the barbaric dragon rabbits and dragon trees he caught could be used to expand the population. Secondly, the density of the spiritual qi in the pearl of mountain and river was more than 100 times stronger than before. It seemed to have recovered most of the functions of the pearl of mountain and river, and it also had the ability to communicate with dimensional spaces. He could feel that the pearl of mountain and river seemed to communicate with thousands of dimensional spaces, opening up spatial passageways. It absorbed energy from the depths of the void and poured it into the pearl of mountain and river, filling it with energy at all times. This also allowed the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers to maintain its peak state at all times. Of course, these were nothing. They were just minor details. What made Xia Ping the happiest was that the bead of mountains and rivers had healed most of its injuries, and it had finally condensed the third array diagram, which was also the strongest array diagram of the bead of mountains and rivers. It could be said to be the core of the bead of mountains and rivers. This formation was called the Yellow River of 9 Bends. Back then, the mountain river saint had relied on this formation diagram to become invincible. Once the 9 Bends Yellow River diagram appeared, it immediately shocked the universe, causing countless saints to be fearful and wary. This formation contained the secrets of nature, the mechanisms of life and death, and the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams on the outside, advancing and retreating in an orderly manner. Within this formation were the 3 powers, the mysteries of heaven and earth. Within it was the immortal bewitching pill, the immortal seal mantra, the ability to lose the spirit of an immortal, the soul of an immortal, the form of an immortal, the aura of an immortal, the original form of an immortal, and the limbs of an immortal. When immortals enter this place they become mortals, and when mortals enter this place they die. Among the 9 tunes none of them were straight. The tunes contained the wonders of creation and the secrets of immortals. No matter what kind of saint he was, he would not be able to escape from this. Boom! Thinking of this, Xia Ping immediately activated his spiritual power and poured it into the depths of the mountain river pearl. Immediately, the third formation diagram, the Yellow River of 9 Bends Yellow River diagram appeared. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. One after another, the yellow rivers stretched across the void, with 9 bends and 18 bends. They were arranged according to the positions of the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams in an orderly manner, enveloping the void and containing the power of the 3 powers. When this formation diagram was formed, it covered the sky and the sun, enveloping the void. Xia Ping could feel how terrifying this formation diagram was. Once an enemy entered it, it would be like entering a maze. The formation would change at any time, and the enemy would not be able to escape from it at all. Moreover, the yellow rivers were filled with a terrifying corrosive aura. If one stayed in this formation for too long, one would be contaminated by the aura of the yellow springs. Their primordial spirit would weaken, and they would die from the decay of the heavens. What a powerful formation diagram. Xiaoping was shocked. He felt that this formation diagram was extremely mysterious, as if it was a connate formation. It contained the mysteries of heaven and earth, and the changes of the universe. It was unfathomable, chaotic and ancient. Master. The green ox sighed emotionally. Actually, when Old Master refined this pearl of mountains and rivers back then, he once said that the pearl of mountains and rivers had not been completely refined. The final 9 bends yellow river diagram still lacked some materials before it could be considered completely refined. If Old Master had completely refined the pearl of mountains and rivers back then, he might not have died. What materials are you lacking? Xiaoping asked curiously. Yellow Springs River water. The green ox looked at Xiaoping and said in a deep voice, only when the Yellow Springs River water from the depths of hell fuses with the yellow river diagram can this formation diagram be considered to be successfully condensed. It contains the power of the Yellow Springs of hell. Countless Yellow Springs River water will erupt and instantly send saints to reincarnation. After thousands of cleanses, they will completely become mortals and be invincible. It was extremely yearning. It's a pity that the Yellow Springs River water is too difficult to find. In fact, Old Master couldn't even find where hell is back then, the green ox said helplessly, expressing that even the cleverest housewife could not cook without rice. Yellow Springs River water? Upon hearing these words, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. Although the mountain river saint did not find the Yellow Springs River back then and did not find the location of hell, he found it now. If he entered the depths of hell and found the Yellow Springs River that traversed the void and passed through hell, he would definitely be able to increase the power of the mountain river pearl to an unprecedented realm. Even if it was upgraded to a peerless sage artifact and its power increased by hundreds of times, it would not be a big problem. However, even if he did not obtain the Yellow Springs River water now with just this formation diagram, Xiaoping would be invincible. He could even challenge those of a higher realm and completely suppress thunder tribulation eminences. Haha Xiaoping, I succeeded too. At this moment, Corinne's voice also sounded. It was full of energy and was extremely excited. Succeeded? What does that mean? Could it be that the stars has been repaired? Xiaoping was a little surprised. Yes, it's been successfully repaired. The stars has now been restored to its peak. Corinne appeared, looking pleased with himself. At this moment, his figure was also not ordinary. It seemed to have condensed and had a physical body. His body emitted specks of starlight, and the depths of his body contained majestic astral energy. Although Corinne was an intelligent brain, he was also considered the star's artifact spirit. Chapter 1802. Didn't you say it would take a few more months? Xiaoping asked. I thought so at first, but those materials are too useful and I also obtained a large number of space stones. At the same time, my inspiration multiplied, and my maintenance ability improved qualitatively, thus speeding up the repair speed. Corinne was proud, indicating that it was all thanks to him. Where is the stars? Xiaoping could not wait to see what the repaired stars would look like. After all, it would be his ride in the future. It's here. Corinne waved his hand, and a black spaceship immediately appeared in front of Xiaoping. It was streamlined and had a very sci-fi appearance, emitting an inexplicable sage aura. In fact, the stars had been built by sages with countless materials, and it could be considered a sage artifact. Xiaoping, this is the stars at its peak. Come and take a look. Corinne was very excited and immediately introduced the stars. First of all, the stars, which had been repaired, was more than 10 times faster than before. Once it started to move at full speed, even if an ordinary sage wanted to catch up, they would not be able to catch up. It surpassed the speed of light. Next, its defensibility had also been greatly improved. Some of the holes on the spaceship were also quickly repaired, reaching a perfect state. Even if it was attacked by an ordinary sage, it would not be able to damage the spaceship for a while. Amazing. Xiaoping was very satisfied. It could be said that the increased speed and defense of the spaceship alone were completely worth the precious materials he had used. With this spaceship, as long as he did not offend too terrifying an enemy, he would be able to do whatever he wanted. Of course, this is just some insignificant abilities of the stars at its peak. The reason why this spaceship is so powerful and is regarded as a treasure by the Old Master is mainly because it has 2 abilities. Corinne stretched out 2 fingers. Xiaoping blinked and listened attentively. The first is a life-saving ability. Corinne said in a deep voice, it can move hundreds of millions of light years away in an instant. Even a sage can't catch up. This is an extremely powerful life-saving ability. Keep bragging. If it's really so powerful, why did the star sages die? Green Ox said in disdain. Stupid cow, no one will think you're mute if you don't speak. Hearing these words, Corinne was so angry that he wanted to use a sewing machine to sew the Green Ox's mouth. He gritted his teeth and said, "The reason why Old Master died is because this ability has a huge shortcoming. After using it once, it will take at least 1,000 years to recover." Back then, in order to avoid being hunted down, Old Master had already used this ability once, and it hasn't been used a second time in the past 1,000 years. But now that the enemy is here again, they won't be able to escape. I see. Xia Ping came to a sudden realization. This was indeed a weakness, but it was not a huge one. It was already quite good to have such a life-saving ability. Even if he needed a lot of time to recover, it was worth it. The second is the ability to attack. Corinne continued to introduce the myriad stars. All the cannon muzzles on the myriad stars as well as the attack system have been repaired. These cannon muzzles are the myriad stars sect's famous starlight cannon. There were tens of thousands of these starlight cannons on the multi-star. If they were fired at the same time, thousands of starlight cannons could blast out and destroy countless planets in an instant. Of course, the starlight cannon also has its drawbacks. That is, it consumes star energy. Once it's depleted, it will take a long time to replenish. Starlight cannon. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He had been looking forward to the weapon system on the myriad stars for a long time, and now he finally got Corinne to repair the starlight cannons. He reckoned that in the future, just by relying on this spaceship, his firepower would be equivalent to a fleet. It needs to consume energy again. It seems that it's a big energy consumer. Without star energy, it's just a big coffin. The Green Ox despised, directly poking at Corinne's weak spot. Bullshit, as if your mountain river pearl doesn't need to consume energy. Corinne exploded with anger. The myriad stars has a system that automatically absorbs star energy. Even if the energy stored in the spaceship is depleted, it can automatically recover after a period of time. Even if we can find a large number of star stones, we don't need to absorb the star energy in the depths of the void and can directly use it. In the end, it's still a waste of money. It's just a prodigal toy. The Green Ox despised. How can a broken spaceship compare to the mountain river pearl? This is a golden pheasant mother that can produce money. It's obviously more beneficial to the owner. Bullshit. Corinne gritted his teeth. So what if it's a golden pheasant mother? What's the use in encountering danger? At critical moments, we still have to rely on the myriad stars. There's no need to worry even if we encounter a strong enemy. There's no need to rely on the myriad stars. The mountain river pearl is enough. With that broken toy, it's superfluous. The Green Ox was not to be outdone. Just like that, the two of them quarreled with each other, neither giving in to the other. In the end, it was Xia Ping who stopped the two of them. However, for him, having these two sage-level treasures was like adding wings to a tiger. No matter which one it was, it would be of great help to him. Whoosh. At that moment, a figure flickered and appeared in front of Xia Ping. It was a lowly in a black gothic costume. Luna? She blinked her big eyes. Master hungry. Luna said to Xia Ping. Hungry? Xia Ping touched his chin. He could sense the desire in the depths of Luna's heart. It was not hunger, but the hunger in the depths of her heart. This was the desire to develop dependence in her body. In fact, this was the deepest expression of the genes in the body of a zombie beast. It would instinctively expand its population and enhance its strength. This was like the insect queen, but because of Xia Ping's suppression, she also suppressed her instinct. But now, she was a little unable to suppress it, so she took the initiative to come out. This is also good. I should have found a lot of Yanhuang planet martial artists now. You can turn them into your dependents. Xia Ping said to Luna, and then he immediately went back to inform his father to gather many human martial artists who wanted to become stronger. All of them gathered on Yanhuang planet. A few days later, Luna had developed at least 50 million dependents, turning this group of Yanhuang planet humans into creatures with the bloodline of zombie beasts. Their bodies contained a strong will to devour. They could even become stronger by eating food that contained energy. Of course, if this group of people became stronger, Luna would also become stronger. This was a race like a whole. These human kings were also sent out to the universe by Xia Ping to train in the universe. He believed that as long as they did not die, they could grow up quickly, and their cultivation would also advance by leaps and bounds. He was afraid that after a period of time, he would have a terrifying army in his hands. At the same time, taking advantage of these few days, Xia Ping also went to the vicinity of the storm-forbidden zone and used an array to temporarily cover up the safe space passage. He believed that in the future, no one could pass through that passage except for himself. In this way, Yanhuang planet would be much safer. Beep. Chapter 1803. A few days later. On a primitive planet in the southern universe. Numerous stars slowly landed on the planet, and Tu Linglong and Green Wan happened to be waiting for Xia Ping on the planet. There's a palace here? It seems quite extraordinary. Xia Ping walked out of stars and looked up. He immediately saw a majestic and ancient palace in front of him, exuding an unfathomable aura of vicissitudes and holiness. He could tell at a glance that the palace was not simple, and it appeared on such an ordinary planet. No matter how he looked at it, it was very unusual. The reason why he came to this place was that Tu Linglong and Qing Wan invited him to discuss something in detail, but they could not talk face to face through the communicator, lest the walls were eavesdropping. Therefore, Xia Ping drove the spaceship directly to the southern universe, where Tu Linglong and the others were. Of course it's extraordinary. This is the famous monster temple of our demon race. Bumpkin, you've learned something new. Tu Linglong proudly introduced with her hands on her hips. Oh, why would the monster temple appear in this place? Xia Ping asked curiously. It's just a random appearance. Qing Wan explained, the whereabouts of the monster temple are not fixed. It will appear in various places in the universe at any time according to its mood. This is just a place where the monster temple is temporarily staying. It will leave this place after a while. I see. Xia Ping nodded, indicating that he understood. It turned out that it was just a temporary place to stay. He looked at Qing Wan and Tu Linglong and went straight to the point. Hearing that you two are in such a hurry, I wonder what you two are looking for me for? Do you know that I'm usually very busy? If you don't have anything important to look for me, I'm afraid you'll have to compensate me. Compensate my ass. Shameless. Tu Linglong said disdainfully, what else do you have to do? You're just a bully and cause trouble everywhere. You're exactly the kind of person that people like you are. You still have the nerve to say that you're very busy and like a president. Do you still have any shame, Xia Ping? This is the attitude you have when you're asking for help. It seems that you don't want me to help you. Xia Ping looked at Tu Linglong with a smile. Hearing this, Tu Linglong was furious. She was once again caught by this bastard. Now that she was asking for help, how could she still be arrogant? What's wrong? Don't you need to apologize for saying something wrong? How can the mighty saintess of the rabbit race be so unreasonable? Xia Ping was insatiable. Seeing Xia Ping's complacent expression, Tu Linglong was so angry that she wanted to bite him to death. How could there be such a bad human in this world? His skin was even thicker than the city walls. However, she still endured it because she really needed Xia Ping's help. She gritted her teeth and said, I was a little loud and a little impulsive just now. I'm really sorry. These words were basically squeezed out from the gaps between her teeth. Ahem, alright, enough with the idle chatter. Let's get down to business. Qing Wan coughed and changed the topic calmly. Actually, we invited you here because of a dangerous task given to us by the Demon Divine Temple recently. I'm afraid we need your help with this task. It's a mission from the Demon Saint Hall. Can outsiders help us? Xia Ping asked curiously. Of course, not every task will work. Only a few of them will. After all, sometimes, networking and friendship are also a kind of power. This is also one of the tests of the Demon Temple. Qing Wan said. Well, what exactly is the task? Xia Ping looked at Qing Wan. Qing Wan said seriously, have you heard of the black hole worm? Black hole worm? Hearing this, Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He had read many secret histories of the universe and illustrations of various fierce beasts. Naturally, he had heard of the three words black hole worm. You're talking about the legendary primordial alien worm, the black hole worm. It is said that they are naturally proficient in the law of space and feed on space energy. They often dig space passages and survive in the void. Xia Ping said in a deep voice, in the primordial era, the black hole worm was refined by many powerful people and kept as pets. They continuously opened stable space passages, connecting different parts of the universe as well as planetary passages, and even to dimensional spaces. To be honest, when he knew about the existence of the black hole worm, he also wanted to refine a black hole worm and make it his own pet because it was really useful. Once he had a black hole worm, he could build stable space passages, which would be of great benefit to the development of various major regions. It was simply too close but still worlds apart. After all, the universe was too vast and boundless. who knew how long it would take to travel from one star field to another. But if he could open up a stable wormhole, it would be completely different. He could completely use this space passage to reach another star field in the shortest distance, saving a lot of time. Could be said that having a black hole worm was equivalent to having a huge amount of wealth. He could open up a rich space passage, and just controlling a space passage would allow him to obtain a huge amount of wealth. Unfortunately, in the primordial era, these primordial alien worms that ran amok in the universe were hunted and killed indiscriminately by countless powerful people, thus becoming extinct. Until today they had long disappeared, becoming one of the countless species that had disappeared in the universe. Of course, the reason why Xiaoping wanted to obtain the black hole worm was not to open up a space passage and earn a lot of wealth. He wanted to open up a space passage between Hell and the Gaia dimension, creating an eternal tunnel that would allow him to enter the Hell dimension at any time. This way he could continuously hunt Hell creatures and obtain a large amount of soul energy. That's right, the primordial alien worm, the black hole worm. The Green Yuan nodded. There are many space passages in the universe, and they were all excavated by the black hole worm in the primordial era. They have become the main transportation channels connecting the major star fields. Although space passages also appear in the universe from time to time, the problem is that these space passages are too unstable and can collapse at any time. They are extremely dangerous, and if you're not careful, you might be swept into spatial turbulence and die without a complete corpse. That's why the black hole worm's ability is so precious, and it's fought over by countless powerful people. It has become a truly rare creature. You suddenly mentioned the black hole worm. Could it be that your mission is closely related to the black hole worm? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. It's not as simple as closely related, it's directly related. Our mission is to capture a black hole worm and form a contract with it. The Green Yuan explained the contents of her mission. Wait, didn't the black hole worm go extinct in the primordial era? How are you going to form a contract with it? Chapter 1804. Of course not. If the black hole worm is really extinct, the Demon Saint Temple wouldn't have issued this mission because it's impossible to complete. If that's the case, then where are the black hole worms? Xiaoping asked immediately. They don't live in an ordinary universe but in the demon realm. Qing Yuan said in a deep voice. Demon realm? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had heard of this term. This is actually not a secret. If you ask around a little, you will also know about the existence of the demon realm. The Green Phoenix continued. The so-called demon realm is a huge dimensional world created by many demon sages. They extracted many dimensional spaces and used supreme secret techniques to fuse these dimensional worlds together, causing the area of this world to be extremely vast, boundless, and rich in materials. Many descendants of the demon royal family live in the demon realm, which is the true base camp of the demon race. In fact, it's not just the demon race that has such a dimensional world. Other races also have it, such as the dragon realm where the dragon race lives, the Qilin realm where the Qilin race lives, the Taotai realm where the Taotai race lives, the giant realm where the giant race lives, the Phoenix realm where the Phoenix race lives, and so on. They are all famous dimensional worlds. At this point she paused and looked at Xiaoping. This time, the Demon Saint Temple sensed that a black hole worm is about to appear in the demon realm. That's why they issued this mission. They want us to go to the demon realm and contract a black hole worm. But once the black hole worm appears, it will definitely attract countless old monsters. Once they make a move, we won't have any hope, so we have to find outside help. She knew what had happened to Xiaoping recently. He was a returning Truth Realm Almighty with unparalleled battle power and all kinds of secret treasures to protect himself. Even Transcendence Realm Almighties were not his match. So, this was a powerful outside help. There was hope that they could snatch the black hole worm from the crowd. That's true, but I also want the black hole worm. Xiaoping said his idea. This is not a big problem. There might be more than 1 or 2 black hole worms appearing this time. There will be a large number of them. The Green Yuan said, 2 Linglong and I only need 1 black hole worm each. If we can get more, then they'll all belong to you. She looked at Xiaoping and stated her condition. Alright, I agree to this condition. Where is the demon realm? How do I get in? Xiaoping immediately agreed. After all, if it wasn't for Qing Yuan and Tu Linglong leading the way and providing information, he probably wouldn't have known about the birth of the black hole worm. If he could obtain extra black hole worms, it wouldn't be a problem to split 1 or 2 of them. That's good. Hearing Xiaoping's agreement, Green Phoenix smiled slightly. It's very difficult for ordinary people to enter the demon realm. After all, the entire demon realm is guarded by the demon saint. It's almost impossible for ordinary people to sneak in. Moreover, the spatial coordinates of the demon realm are constantly changing. But it's different with the demon temple. It can break through the defense of the demon realm silently and accurately lock onto the position of the demon realm. It can teleport us into the demon realm. After completing the task, we can teleport back immediately. It's very convenient. I see. When are we leaving? Xiaoping asked. We'll rest for 2 hours before we set off. We've already wasted too much time waiting for you to arrive. It won't be long before the black hole worm emerges, so we can't waste any more time here. The Green Phoenix said seriously. No problem at all. I've already made preparations and can set off at any time. Xiaoping said. 2 hours later. Tu Linglong and Green Phoenix were already prepared. Both of them formed seals with their hands, seemingly communicating with the demon temple. Dong. Immediately, the entire demon saint temple trembled, and ancient restrictive formations appeared one after another. An enormous and unmatched energy instantly enveloped Xiaoping, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan. The next second, this ball of green energy enveloped the three of them. It immediately broke through space and turned into an energy ball. It was unknown how many layers of dimensional spaces had been broken in it. Xiaoping could see the huge dimensional spaces that he had passed through appearing in front of him like flashing lights. They were constantly flashing, just like looking at flowers on horseback. Boom. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping's body shook. He immediately saw that he was approaching a huge eggshell made of energy. This was a huge dimensional world. The surroundings of this dimensional world seemed to be filled with densely packed restrictive arrays, which produced chains of order one after another. It seemed that if any enemy dared to approach it, they would immediately be struck by lightning. Whoosh. However, this ball of green energy completely ignored the defenses of this dimensional world. It was as if it had the same source of energy. It easily penetrated the barrier of this world. Soon, the three of them appeared in this world and stood on a piece of land. This is the demon realm? Xiaoping was very shocked. Although he could be considered to be experienced and knowledgeable, and had entered many secret realms in the past, he had never seen such a vast world. It was boundless, and the mountains and rivers were magnificent and beautiful. At first glance, many mountains rose from the ground and pierced into the sky. The mountain range stretched endlessly. It was impossible to see the end of the mountain range. In the sky there were 3 golden suns, forming the 3 Greats formation. A huge amount of heat descended from the void, bestowing a huge amount of heat energy, making this world full of vitality. This is comfortable. Xiaoping stood where he was, accepting the heat energy one after another. He felt his body warm. The energy of the sun was also very beneficial to him. It seemed that under such a sun, the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body was excited and excited. Such dense spiritual qi. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He sensed that the spiritual qi in the demon realm was extremely dense. It was at least 10 to 100 times denser than other places. It was filled with rich life energy. With every breath, he felt his magic power grow and his lifespan increase. Because the energy in this world was too dense, it caused the plants in this world to be extremely tall. Even the weeds would be dozens of feet tall. When people walked on the grassland, they couldn't see far at all. They would be drowned in the weeds like ants walking on the ground. There was no need to mention the trees. There were many that were hundreds of feet tall. Some giant trees were even as tall as a mountain. Or rather, they were trees themselves. They were incomparably majestic. When Xiaoping came to this place, he immediately felt that he was boundlessly small. He was a dwarf in a country of giants. But thinking about it, this was very normal. After all, there were countless races in the demon race. Most of them were extremely tall, far exceeding humans. Some were even as tall as a small mountain. When they walked, the sky and earth shook. Chapter 1805. Be careful. At this time, Qing Wan's expression was very solemn. This is the chaotic plane. Many bandits and monsters gather here. If you encounter them, you might be killed and robbed. She looked around vigilantly as if to detect if there were enemies around. She and Tu Linglong had entered the demon realm several times for the demon temple's missions, so they were very familiar with this place. They knew which places were dangerous and which were safe. There are bandits? It seems that the demon realm is not very peaceful. There are wars everywhere. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. That's to be expected. Qing Wan said in a deep voice, the human race is only one race, but it will also be divided into countless countries. There are also countless forces in the countries with different standpoints and conflicts, even wars. The demon realm, to put it nicely, is the holy land of countless demon clans, but in fact, it is a hodgepodge of countless races. There are so many conflicts within a single race, and this place is filled with races, so the conflicts are even more numerous. Be specific. Xia Ping wanted to know more about the specific situation of the demon realm. The demon realm is vast and boundless, even larger than tens of thousands of star fields in the outside world. However, although the area is vast, there are also many demons. They occupy most of the fertile land and most of the resources. Qing Yuan said, "In this world, demons use cities as their main units. A city is equivalent to a human country, and there are often wars between cities for resources, revenge, and so on. These demon cities are occupied by a single race, and there are also several races occupying them together. In short, it is like the warring states period of the human race. No one is willing to submit to anyone, and there is no common demon lord yet." I see. Xia Ping nodded, indicating that he understood. But this has nothing to do with entering the demon realm, and we don't want to get involved in these complicated forces. Our main goal is to get the black hole worm, and once we refine it, we will immediately leave the demon realm. Qing Yuan continued, "For now, we don't know the specific location of the black hole worm, so we need to go to the nearby Jadeite city to inquire about the birth of the black hole worm. Once the black hole worm appears, the demons will be in an uproar and the demon realm will be shaken. I think Jadeite city will be the first demon city to receive the news, and we can take the initiative to find the black hole worm." She revealed her plan, and wanted to go to Jadeite city to wait for the birth of the black hole worm. To the Jadeite city? We are unregistered residents of this world. If we enter the city, will there be any problems? Will our identities be checked? Xia Ping was worried about this. Qing Yuan waved her hand, "You don't have to worry about this. The demon realm is different from the human world. The time and place of birth are different. It is extremely difficult and complicated to know the identity of each demon. Therefore, in the world of demons, there was no such thing as identity registration. All demons were unregistered residents. As long as one did not expose their human identity, there would be no problem. After all, this is the demon realm, the world of the demon clan. Humans don't exist here. To them, you're a rare animal. Once you're exposed, I'm afraid you'll become a public enemy." She wanted Xia Ping to change his identity and not expose his human identity. This is simple. Xia Ping rubbed his chin and immediately used the faceless mask to change his appearance. First, his height increased by 10 or so centimeters, and his muscles became much stronger. Next, horns grew out of his head, and strange dark golden patterns appeared on his face. His appearance also changed, becoming incomparably handsome and bewitching, and his body emanated a dense aura of flames. "In the future you will call me Master Wu of the Golden Crow clan. Don't call me by my original name, otherwise my identity will be exposed." Xia Ping smiled slightly and looked at Qing Yuan and Tu Linglong. Qing Yuan was dumbfounded. Although she asked Xia Ping to change his identity, she didn't expect it to be so thorough. Now he was completely and thoroughly a demon. Not only had his appearance changed, but even the aura on his body had changed. If she wasn't familiar with Xia Ping and had been standing beside him, she probably wouldn't have recognized that the current Master Wu and Xia Ping were the same person. It was really incredible. "Oh my god, Xia Ping, how can your transformation ability be so powerful? I can't find any flaws at all. How profound is your cultivation of this magical ability?" Tu Linglong exclaimed. "You're too polite, it's just a little bit of talent." Xia Ping said modestly. "A little bit of talent? I think it's purely because you, a bad guy, have done too many bad things. You were forced to cultivate this magical ability and habitually change your identity, for fear that others would find your original body and find trouble with you." Tu Linglong felt that according to this hateful human's proficient transformation, this human must have done similar things countless times. Otherwise, how could he be so proficient and not feel strange at all? She also remembered that this bad human had changed into someone else's appearance countless times and framed others. She didn't know how much trouble he had caused. To be honest, she felt that if Wu Wudi's identity was exposed, this bad human would definitely become the public enemy of the universe, and he would be chased no matter where he fled. Meddlesome. Xia Ping's face darkened and reached out to hit Tu Linglong. Tu Linglong was half dead with anger. She grimaced and covered her head that was hurting from being hit. She wanted to bite someone. "Okay, don't bicker here. Let's hurry to Jadeite City." It's going to be dark soon and we might encounter troublesome demons and bandits. Qing Wan stopped her. Aha, you want to go to Jadeite City? No need. You guys stay here obediently and accompany this king up the mountain. At this moment, a rampant voice sounded. A yellow demonic wind flew from afar at an extremely fast speed. It tore through the void and landed in front of Xia Ping and the others. Then a 5-meter-tall weasel in yellow armor appeared in front of Xia Ping and the others. Its body exuded a violent demonic aura. It had the terrifying cultivation of the early-stage transcendence realm and had condensed the heaven and earth dharma. Behind it were hundreds of weasel minions. They were at least at the golden core realm and all of them had towering demonic aura. They looked at Xia Ping and the others with covetous eyes, as though they were cats catching mice. Oh no. Seeing the appearance of these demons, Qing Wan and Tu Linglong knew that they had been targeted by these bandits and demons and were surrounded. Their hearts instantly sank. This yellow weasel was the famous demon king of the chaotic plains. He ruled over countless demons under him and his strength was tyrannical. Chapter 1806. Haha, the Weasel King's luck is really too good. It was just a stroll, but I didn't expect to find two beautiful demon girls. One is from the rabbit race and the other is from the winged race. I can't help but feel pity for them. They are very suitable to be my concubines for number 3888 and 3889. The Weasel King laughed heartily and looked at Tu Linglong and Qing Wan. His soybean-sized eyes revealed a greedy expression. He clearly fancied Tu Linglong and Qing Wan and wanted to capture them as his wives. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations, Your Majesty has taken in 2 more concubines. The magpies chirped this morning. That's why Your Majesty is so lucky. It's my honor. Such beautiful girls are a perfect match for Your Majesty. They're a match made in heaven. Many of the Weasel King's lackeys were flattering him. On the other hand, the Weasel King stroked his beard with a satisfied and proud look on his face. He had already regarded Qing Wan and Tu Linglong as his spoils of war. To be honest, he still couldn't see through Tu Linglong and Qing Wan's innate nature. He thought that they were just ordinary demons. If he knew that Qing Wan had the bloodline of a divine beast and Tu Linglong had the bloodline of a spacetime rabbit, he would have gone even crazier. However, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan had cultivated the supreme technique of the demonic temple and had long concealed their bloodlines. Even a transcendence realm expert wouldn't be able to discover them. Little girls, consider yourself lucky today. Our Majesty has taken a liking to you too. Later you two will follow us up the mountain. In the future you'll be able to enjoy all the glory and wealth you want. A weasel demon jumped out, looking very arrogant. Scram. Who would want to go up the mountain with you weasels? Tu Linglong was very angry and glared at the group of weasels. What? Little rabbit demon, you don't want to give me face? You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit? Do you know that you have to agree even if you don't want to? Do you think we're discussing with you? No, this is an order. The weasel demon's expression changed and he shouted as if he was infuriated. Hearing these words, the yellow Weasel King was also very displeased. What kind of status did it have? It was a transcendence realm expert, an existence that could be considered a feudal lord in the demon realm, with billions of subordinates. It was only because it wasn't willing to be restricted that it became a bandit. If not, it could just casually enter any demon city and obtain the position of an elder. Its authority would be able to overturn the world. But now, there was actually a little demon who dared to reject him. She didn't want to become his 3,888th concubine, and she even put on an attitude in front of him. How preposterous. Everyone. At this time, Xia Ping stood up and said, I am the Golden Crow clan's Marshal Supreme. Can you give me some face? Don't make things difficult for my 2 concubines. Otherwise, the scene will be very ugly, which is not good for anyone. Hearing this, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan's pretty faces turned red, and they fiercely glared at Xia Ping. This bastard human is taking advantage of the situation to take advantage of the 2 of us. Give you face? Who the fuck do you think you are? You're just a tramp. I don't know where this little demon came from, but you want the great king to give you face? Have you lost your mind? A yellow weasel demon scolded. He felt that this little demon dared to say such words and still wanted them to give him face. This was the greatest insult to the great king. Great king, I will kill him now, lest he dirties your eyes. A few of the yellow Weasel King's subordinates were ready to make a move, wanting to kill Xia Ping. Don't be anxious. The yellow Weasel King waved his hand, stopping his subordinates from making a move. A glimmer of light appeared in his eyes as he stared at Xia Ping. Golden Crow clan? A legendary clan that once appeared in the primordial era. You are actually a descendant of the Golden Crow clan? Is this true? Didn't you say that they were already extinct? Of course it's true. I have awakened the Golden Crow bloodline, and I am a peerless genius. In the future, I will definitely become a leading figure in the martial Tao, an invincible existence like a demonic sage. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and said proudly, "Of course I have not grown up yet. I am still a rookie, but becoming a sage is something that will happen sooner or later. If you give me face now, I will definitely remember it in my heart. In the future, when I become a sage, all of you will benefit. You will have the opportunity to work under me and serve me." He drew a big pie for this group of yellow weasels. Hearing this, the group of yellow weasels were dumbfounded. Even if they were beaten to death, they had never heard such arrogant words. They had never seen such an arrogant little demon. He was clearly a rookie, but his tone was boundless. He actually wanted to become a demonic sage in the future, and wanted to recruit them to work for him. My God, what was wrong with the young demons nowadays? They didn't have much ability, but their tone was boundless. They didn't have any self-awareness at all, and didn't know how much they were worth. Interesting, I have never seen such an arrogant little demon like you before. I don't know where your confidence comes from. The Yellow Weasel King's eyes revealed a hint of coldness, but I don't care whether what you said is true or not. If what you said is true, then it couldn't be better. After I eat you and refine the Golden Crow bloodline in your body, then wouldn't I, the Yellow Weasel King, be able to reach the heavens in a single step? I might even become a demonic sage. It's a pity that you don't know this, thinking that you can rely on your bloodline to do whatever you want. You don't know that you are a lamb that has entered the tiger's mouth, do you know that? As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately made his move. A ball of primordial spirit emerged from his body and condensed into a heaven and earth Dharma idol. The energy within thousands of kilometers gathered together and bombarded towards Xiaoping. He was incomparably ferocious. He wanted to kill Xiaoping in an instant to prevent any accidents from happening. After being a bandit for so long, he naturally knew that even a lion would use its full strength to hunt a rabbit. He would not give his enemy any chance. "Sai, I gave you face but you didn't take it. I gave you a chance to live but you didn't cherish it. Why bother?" Xiaoping shook his head and sighed. He didn't even look at the Yellow Weasel King. He took a step forward and punched. Immediately, the 9 primordial spirits in his body vibrated. Violent magical power gushed out from the depths of the purple palace and gathered in the depths of his fist. It kept brewing and instantly exploded. Dong. This punch fiercely hit the Yellow Weasel King's body. It produced a terrifying destructive power that shook the sky and the earth. Stars fell from the sky, the earth trembled, and the void shattered. The Yellow Weasel King suddenly let out a miserable scream. There was a look of horror in the depths of his eyes. He couldn't withstand such a terrifying power at all. He watched helplessly as his armor, his body, his primordial spirit, crumbled bit by bit. "No!" he screamed. In the next second, his entire body, including his primordial spirit, was shaken into nothingness. He even punched out with his fist. In the distance, dozens of mountains that were tens of thousands of meters tall were flattened. Boulders shattered and collapsed on the spot. The fist punched out along the way, leaving a trail that was thousands of kilometers long. The surrounding area was filled with the smell of burning. In the sky, thousands of miles of clouds were blown away. It was as if the sky had been pierced. Chapter 1807. No, that's impossible. The great king is dead. He was killed by a single punch. Illusion, this must be an illusion. King is a transcendence realm expert, an existence that condensed the transcendence of heaven and earth. How can he be killed by one punch? I don't believe it, I don't believe such a ridiculous thing can happen in this world. Seeing this scene, all the weasels were dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. Some of the weasels even shouted, not daring to believe what they were seeing. In their eyes, Xiaoping was just a little demon that had just come out. They could kill dozens of such trash with just a breath, let alone the king himself. There was no doubt that he would die. But what happened now? Not only did that little monster not die, but he even killed their king with one punch. He didn't even have a chance to struggle and directly turned into ashes. Such a cruel way of death caused them to shudder and their hair to stand on end. Too powerful. Qing Wan and Tu Linglong were also stunned. They had heard of Xiaoping's recent deeds, such as how he killed many experts. However, they thought that Xiaoping might have used the power of a magic treasure or used some kind of scheme. They didn't expect that he could kill a Transcendence Realm cultivator with one punch just with the power of his divine power. He was simply too powerful. They were immediately full of confidence in their mission. With Xiaoping's help, they believed that it wasn't impossible to get the black hole worm. Okay, your king is dead. You all should go with him. A family should be united, don't fall behind. Xiaoping looked at the group of weasels and said, Demon, this kid is a demon. Run quickly. Retreat quickly, don't fight him head on. Hearing this, the weasels were so scared that they peed their pants. They didn't have the courage to fight Xiaoping at all. Even their king was killed with one punch. What could small characters like them do? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hundreds of weasels quickly retreated. They used their god arts and turned into yellow demonic winds, scattering in all directions. Their speed was almost at the peak of their lives. Although they weren't strong enough, their speed was still very fast. Brr. Xiaoping stood on the spot and used his martial god art, letting out a loud roar. Dragon Race Divine Ability, 7 Fiend True Dragon Roar. Immediately there was a deafening sound in the air. It was as if a real dragon had descended, absorbing the endless evil chi in the depths of the void, gathering it together and then instantly exploding. Bang bang bang. Before the hundreds of weasels could fly far, they were bombarded. Unable to withstand the power of the sound wave, they exploded. In midair, huge flowers of blood appeared and exploded like fireworks. Large amounts of blood poured down like raindrops, dyeing the ground red. The group of weasel demons was completely annihilated. Not a single one was spared. Whoosh. With a wave of his hand, Xiaoping immediately grabbed the space rings left behind by the weasels. The various treasures, pills, and spirit herbs on them all fell into his hands. These materials are very good. Scanning with his divine sense, he immediately discovered that these weasel space rings contained large amounts of ores and materials, and these materials seemed to be several times better than anything he had seen before. At the same time, these spirit herbs were also filled with medicinal power and spirituality. Their medicinal power was also 2 to 3 times stronger than ordinary spirit herbs. Master. At that moment, the green ox's voice resonated. These are all demon realm materials. They seem to have undergone the baptism of this world's countless spirit energies and the world's laws. They're more powerful than various materials in the universe. They can be used as the main materials for spirit weapons. Even the demon realm spirit herbs here are very unusual. They're very old and seem to have undergone mutation, causing their medicinal power to be very strong. If they were in the universe, I'm afraid these things would be auctioned for a sky-high price. There's such a thing? If I buy a large number of materials from the demon realm to build Cloud Continent and planet Yanhuang, wouldn't I be able to build many teleportation formations and a large number of treasures? Xiaoping thought about this. Of course it's not a problem. I wonder how much these demon realm materials cost. The green ox said. Xiaoping, these materials are very good. We can let the stars devour them to improve the stars' defense. We should buy more of them. Corinne also had his eyes on these things. Xiaoping, let's go. The battle earlier seemed to have attracted the attention of many demon kings. If we don't leave now, I'm afraid we'll encounter countless demon kings. At that time we'll be in trouble, the Blue Luan said to Xiaoping at this moment. Her divine bloodline could sense many dangers coming from afar. Alright, let's go then. Xiaoping nodded and immediately flew away. 3 days later. Xiaoping, Tu Linglong and the Blue Luan left the Disarray Plains and finally arrived at Jadeite City. During these 3 days, there were many demons who tried to kill Xiaoping and the others to steal their treasures. However, they were all killed by Xiaoping. He completely shocked the demons and even a few demon kings were killed. His actions also completely shocked many demons. They finally knew that there was one more ferocious person in the Disarray Plains. He was not someone they could provoke at all. After that, no demons dared to look for trouble with Xiaoping again. This is Jadeite City? Xiaoping fixed his eyes on it and discovered that this city was simply made of jade. It was completely amber in color and it looked like it was formed by nature. Moreover, it was directly across the plains and was incomparably majestic. It was tens of thousands of feet tall and towered into the clouds. This was a vast and majestic city. Its city walls were like a mountain range that stretched for tens of millions of kilometers. It was endless and there were terrifying restriction arrays on it that contained the might of thunder. If anyone dared to attack it, they would immediately be killed by the array. Moreover, Jadeite City seemed to be very prosperous. Apart from the 3 of them, there were also countless demons flying over. There were also all kinds of flying artifacts appearing, entering and exiting the city. Around the city gate and in the sky above the city, there were many demon soldiers patrolling. They were dressed in armor and wielded spears. They looked ferocious and had a magnificent military appearance. No one dared to approach them. So many demons. Xiaoping looked around the city gate and realized that he actually couldn't recognize all the demons. Just the ones he knew were tree demons, grass demons, ox demons, goat demons, tiger demons, and so on. Apart from that, there were many unknown demons. There were no records of them in the Human Demon Encyclopedia. They could only be seen in the demon world. Let's go in. The Blue Luan and Tu Linglong were familiar with driving and had entered Jadeite City several times. They brought Xiaoping into Jadeite City. Chapter 1808. Upon entering Jadeite City, Xiaoping felt that the city was extremely huge, at least the size of Yanhuang planet. The city was divided into two regions, the inner city and the outer city. The inner city was where the rulers of Jadeite City, the royal demons, lived. This was their base camp and outsiders were not allowed to enter. It was an absolute forbidden area. Of course, the largest region was the outer city. This was the main trading area and it was extremely prosperous. Streets after streets were crowded with countless demons trading and buying. All kinds of inns, hotels, restaurants and so on also appeared here and there were many shops. Of course, these inns and shops were not simple either. There seemed to be a spatial formation inside that could expand the space. It looked like a 3-story shop on the outside, but the inside was as vast as a plane. Let's find a place to stay and rest for a while, then wait for the black hole worm to come out. Green Phoenix said to Xiaoping. Then, under Green Phoenix's lead, they turned here and there and came to a remote alley. There was a shabby inn like a haunted house and it was about to close down. The owner of the hotel was an old rat demon. Boss, give me a room for three monsters. Tu Linglong said skillfully. The third room from the left on the 3rd floor. Go up yourself. The rat demon did not even raise his head. He threw out a string of brass keys and let Xiaoping and the other two go up themselves. Soon Xiaoping, Tu Linglong and Green Phoenix arrived at the inn room. This is where we're staying? Opening the door, Xiaoping's mouth twitched. He was speechless because this room was extremely small, at most 10 square meters. There was only one bed and it was separated from the top, middle and bottom, just enough for 3 people. Other than that, there was nothing else in this room. The most unacceptable thing was that the bedding on the bed was tattered and gave off a moldy smell. Who knew how long it had been since it was washed? Even the bed would creak with a gentle shake as if it would fall apart at any time. Seeing Xiaoping's contemptuous look, Tu Linglong said angrily, "What are you looking at? It's good enough to have a room like this. Although it's a little shabby, it's cheap. It only costs 10 demon coins for a night. Yeah, we're only staying for a few days anyway. It's good enough to have a shelter." Green Phoenix blushed. Alas, being poor is just being poor. Could it be that you're in the right? If you don't have money, you can ask me. I won't look down on you. After all, I'm a rich man with morals and conscience. I'm a professional. I won't casually laugh at the poor unless I can't help it. Xiaoping sighed. What kind of look is that? What kind of look is that? Hearing this, Tu Linglong immediately exploded. Do you think I'm really poor? If this was the universe, we would also have a lot of universe dollars on us and could stay in a luxurious hotel. But this is the demon realm, there is no circulation of universe coins, only demon coins. In this place, everything can only be bought with demon coins. We have just arrived here, so how would we have demon coins? She was so angry that she told him the reason for her embarrassment. After all, they had only come to the demon realm to complete a mission and had not stayed in this place for long, so it was very difficult for them to obtain demon coins. If they sold their magic treasures, they might be able to get a lot of demon coins. The problem was that these were their treasures, how could they sell them? As for some of the materials and elixirs obtained in the universe, they were not valuable at all in the demon realm, a place rich in materials. They could only exchange for a few demon coins, and the daily necessities of clothing, food, lodging, transportation, and some elixirs were all spent. This caused them to only be able to live in such a shabby hotel, which was extremely embarrassing. Earning demon coins is very difficult for you, but it's very simple for me. You have been in and out of the demon realm a few times. What do you think this place lacks the most, or what is the most popular thing? Xiaoping asked. To be honest, after he came to the demon realm, he found that the various materials, elixirs in this world were very good. If he bought them back, he would definitely be able to make a lot of money. But before that, he still needed to get a lot of demon coins so that he could carry out the business. Food. After thinking about it, Green Phoenix looked at Xiaoping and said seriously, if there is anything that the demon realm lacks the most, it is nothing but food, especially food like spirit grains, which is extremely scarce and expensive. Eating here every day costs a lot of money, but the price of accommodation is very cheap. What? The demon realm is so large, how can there be a shortage of food? Xiaoping asked. Although the demon realm is large, the area that can be planted with spirit grains is not much. Most of it is high mountains, deserts, valleys and other areas with complex environments. Green Phoenix said, the most important thing is that the appetite of the monsters is too big, more than 100 times bigger than that of humans. For example, the pig clan can eat hundreds of kilograms a day to be satisfied, and the elephant clan monster eats a few tons of food a day. In addition, there are also many monsters with big appetites such as the whale clan, tiger clan and so on. In short, because of various reasons, the price of food in the demon realm is high. In the demon realm, I am afraid that eating a meal is an extremely extravagant thing. She was extremely emotional. Lack of food? Xiaoping touched his chin. Interesting, if that's the case, then wouldn't I be rich? To be honest, he was lacking in everything except food. Now in the space of the mountain river Pearl, a large number of crystal fragrant rice, golden corn and other food were produced almost every day. Even with Tao Tai helping to eat, most of the spirit grains were left in the warehouse and no one ate them. Of course, because of the unique space of the mountain river Pearl, these spirit grains could be stored almost permanently and would not be wasted because of deterioration. But with so much spirit grains left in the warehouse and no one ate them, it was a waste. If these grains could be used to exchange for a large number of cheap materials, spirit herbs and pills in the demon realm, it would undoubtedly be a very cost-effective deal. Green Phoenix, where can we trade food in this city? Xiaoping asked. There is a market in Jadeite City called Hailan Market. This is the largest market in Jadeite City. There are a large number of shops in it. If we sell food there, we can definitely sell it quickly because food is the real hard currency in the demon realm. It is no exaggeration to say that more or less will be digested. Green Phoenix said the information she knew. Okay, then let's go to Hailan Market and earn demon coins. Xiaoping immediately let Green Phoenix and Tu Linglong set off. He did not want to continue to stay in this hotel that was about to go moldy. He came to the demon realm to seize treasures, not to come to this place to suffer. Okay. Chapter 1809. Hailan Bazaar. This place was bustling with demonic noises as demons came and went. Countless shops stood in great numbers as people rubbed shoulders against one another. There was an endless stream of carriages and it was extremely lively. It was almost the most bustling place in Jadeite City. Basically all the good stuff could be bought here. Many grain merchants. As Xiaoping walked over, he discovered that there were many grain shops along the way. Many demons entered the shops and bought all the grain the moment they entered. Some pig demons and elephant demons bought a few tons of grain in one go. They were very rich. It was no wonder the Green Phoenix said that the demon realm lacked food, especially high-grade food like spirit rice. I have to find a place to sell my food. Xiaoping walked on the streets as his eyes flickered. He was considering which grain shop he should enter and which shop would be able to buy the huge pile of food he had on him. Oh! Suddenly Xiaoping came before a shop. The signboard had the words "Thousand Demon Pagoda" written on it. The shop was huge and resplendent. It was the best among all the shops. Of course, that was not what he was concerned about. Instead, it was the sudden message from the 28 primordial sky dragon talismans in his body that caused him to palpitate. Could there be primordial sky dragon talismans in this 1,000 demon pagoda? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He circulated his qigong to suppress the primordial sky dragon talismans in his body. He did not want the talisman aura to leak out and cause trouble. He knew that there were a total of 3,000 primordial sky dragon talismans. After the ancient war, these talismans were scattered across the universe. It was extremely difficult to gather them all. Even obtaining one was a huge fortuitous encounter. However, he did not expect to sense the existence of other primordial sky dragon talismans in this place not long after he entered the demon realm. If he could obtain more of them, he would definitely be able to increase his strength once again. Hell Golden Crow Eye. At the thought of this, Xiaoping circulated the Hell Golden Crow Eye. Beams of light shot out from the depths of his pupils, penetrating the void and easily penetrating the countless restrictive arrays of the 1,000 demon pagoda. Immediately he saw a peak Dharma realm demon cultivating deep in the 1,000 demon pagoda. There were a total of 18 primordial sky dragon talismans floating on his body. Vaguely, there were primordial sky dragons floating beside him, breathing out mist. They formed a cycle that constantly cleansed the impurities in his body and tempered his body. There are actually 18 primordial sky dragon talismans. If I can obtain them in addition to the 28 I have, I will have at least 46. My strength will definitely increase greatly. A glint flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. Every primordial heavenly dragon talisman he obtained could increase the might of the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. However, he still restrained his thoughts and didn't act rashly. Blue Luan, what do you think of the Myriad Demons Pavilion? Demon Thousand Hall. But before Blue Luan could say anything, Tu Linglong said, Myriad Demon Pavilion? Why are you asking about this scam shop? Don't ever go there. They specialize in scamming demons. Last time I went to the Myriad Demon Pavilion, they scammed me of many demon coins. Moreover, they looked down on me and bullied their customers. She was full of resentment, expressing that the 10,000 Demons Pavilion was extremely evil. Thousand Demon Hall is an extremely large organization in the demon realm. Demon. It's said that every city in the demon realm has a branch. It's powerful and has countless treasures. It's not a force to be trifled with. However, this organization is a mixture of good and bad. They recruit all kinds of demons, creating a foul atmosphere. It's said that they kill people for their treasures. If you have treasures, don't go to this shop to sell or you'll be asking for trouble. She had heard many rumors about people entering the Thousand Demon Pagoda to sell their treasures. They never expected the price to be lowered. The demons of the Thousand Demon Pagoda would fly into a rage out of humiliation and even secretly kill people for their treasures. It was definitely a scam. However, many demons were afraid of the Thousand Demon Pagoda and did not dare to voice their anger. Scam? Scam? Good. I'll choose this shop. Upon hearing that, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He was not afraid that it was a scam. It was easier to deal with a scam. It would be troublesome if it was a legitimate business. Bad human, what do you want to do? Your expression tells me that you want to cause trouble. Tu Linglong instinctively felt that Xiaoping was up to no good. Although he was not targeting her this time, she still felt goosebumps all over her body. Why would I? I'm just a good citizen. Xiaoping said carelessly. As if they would believe you. Tu Linglong and Blue Luan looked at Xiaoping with disdain. However, if Xiaoping was planning to deal with the Thousand Demon Pagoda, they would agree with him. After all, they had been cheated by the Thousand Demon Pagoda and hated it. Xiaoping ignored them and walked straight into the 10,000 Demon Pavilion. Immediately he saw two tall and burly ox demons standing at the entrance. They held huge axes in their hands and looked menacing. They stood upright as if they were guarding the entrance. Even under the blazing sun, the high temperature and the scorching sun, he didn't seem to be moved at all. Brother, you're amazing. Xiaoping praised. Under such a big sun and the temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, you're still so awe-inspiring and don't move at all. What's supporting you to do this job? Is it responsibility, passion, or love? He was very impressed and felt that the two ox demons were role models for guards. Get lost. Hearing this, the ox demon spat and cursed, love my ass, it's poverty. Tu Linglong and Blue Luan immediately felt the same. Xiaoping responded, restrained his expression, walked past the guards and walked straight into the shop. The two ox demons did not stop him. They were only there to protect the safety of the shop, not to stop customers from entering. As soon as he entered the shop, Xiaoping immediately sensed that the space of the shop had expanded by thousands of times. There was a space formation set up here that could greatly expand the interior space and accommodate countless items. There were also dazzling items around the shop, including pills, spiritual herbs, dharma treasures, and all kinds of rare materials. Even food could be bought and sold. It was like a supermarket. However, after he entered the shop for a while, no one served him. It seemed that all the employees had gone missing. What's going on? There are no employees in the Thousand Demon Pagoda. Did someone die in your family? Xiaoping said in dissatisfaction. Fuck your death. Don't you know how to talk? Can't you see that I'm busy? Choose whatever you want and pay for it. Of course, don't go to the high-class area. You can't afford those things. Don't embarrass yourself there, understand? At this moment, a thievish-looking employee appeared. It was a rat demon. It looked at Xiaoping with an unfriendly expression, as if it was very unhappy with what he had just said. Chapter 1810. Can't afford it? How do you know we can't afford it? Xiaoping said. What's there to not know? This rabbit demon and this bird demon, they only bought something worth a few dozen demon coins last time, and they already made a big fuss here. They insisted that we cheated them of 10 demon coins, making it known to all the demons. If these demons aren't poor, what are they? How can they afford to buy high-grade goods? The shop assistant rat demon looked at Tu Linglong and Qing Wan with disdain. It seems that you are all famous in the Myriad Demon Pavilion. Xiaoping said in surprise. It's none of your business. Tu Linglong was so embarrassed that she could die. She couldn't help but pinch Xiaoping. This bastard touched my sore spot. Well, actually we are not here to buy things but to sell things. I wonder if you will accept it? Xiaoping said to the shop assistant rat demon. Sell things? Hearing this, the shop assistant rat demon's eyes lit up. Of course we will, but we won't accept things that are not good. After all, the Myriad Demon Pavilion is not a small shop on the street, but a brand. Of course it is good stuff. I have a bag of spirit rice with me. How much is it worth? Xiaoping took out a bag of crystal fragrant rice, which weighed about half a caddy. What? The shop assistant, rat demon, opened it and had a look. His eyes almost popped out. He couldn't help but think that this was the famous fragrant crystal rice. Even among all the spirit rice, it was the best. Every grain of rice contained a large amount of energy. Many royal demons wanted to eat crystal fragrant rice, but not every meal. This was not a problem of price, but there was no crystal fragrant rice. After all, the environment for crystal fragrant rice was too harsh. It needed superior spirit fields and special people to serve it. If they were not careful, it would go extinct. All these factors combined led to the high price of crystal fragrant rice. A caddy of crystal fragrant rice was worth 100,000 demon coins. However, he quickly restrained his expression and said casually, ordinary spirit rice, the quality is not good. A bag of this kind of spirit rice is 100 demon coins. If you want to sell it, we will accept it. If not, then forget it. He ruthlessly lowered the price, making the crystal fragrant rice worthless. Sure enough, a big shop is bullying customers. Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately laughed. I've long heard that the 10,000 Demon Pavilion is very black-hearted, but I didn't expect it to be so black-hearted. You want to buy my spirit rice with just 100 demon coins? Do you really think I'm a fool? Since you don't have any sincerity, then forget it. I'll go sell it somewhere else. Someone will definitely want it. You want to leave? You stole the spirit rice from my store and you still want to leave? You have guts. Do you think that there are no demons in the Myriad Demon Pavilion? The shop assistant, rat demon, sneered and his eyes revealed a cruel look. It directly framed Xiaoping, saying that he stole half a kilogram of spirit rice from the store. Obviously, it didn't just want to lower the price, it also wanted to steal all of the spirit rice. It wanted to murder him for money. Bullshit. Who stole your store's spirit rice? We didn't even get close to your goods. Tu Linglong was infuriated. She knew that the Myriad Demon Pavilion was black-hearted, but she didn't expect it to be so black-hearted. They even brazenly framed her. They were simply lawless and arrogant. Which thief isn't like that? Do you think I'll believe you just because you're making excuses? Did you steal something from our store? Wait till I capture you and torture you, then you'll confess. Guards, capture these 3 thieves alive and throw them into prison. The rat demon sneered and ordered the guards in the store to capture Xiaoping and the others. There are still people who dare to steal from the Myriad Demon Pavilion. They're too bold. They're simply courting death. 3 thieves, surrender immediately. Suddenly, more than a dozen demon guards attacked from all directions. They were holding wolf fang gang weapons, broadswords and other weapons. They were ferocious like hungry wolves and pounced over. Dong. Before these demon guards got close, Xiaoping circulated his qigong and produced a terrifying aura from his body. It crushed towards the group of guards like a mountain. More than a dozen demon guards and the rat demon shop assistant couldn't withstand such an attack. They were sent flying, screaming and coughing up blood in the air. When they fell to the ground, they were already screaming and couldn't struggle anymore. They were seriously injured on the spot. I gave you face, but you still want to ask the demons to capture me. You're quite bold. Do you know how to write the word death? Xiaoping stepped on the head of the rat demon shop assistant. He looked down and trampled on the shop assistant's head fiercely. He kept rubbing the shop assistant's head, causing a large amount of blood to seep out. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. Someone came to the Myriad Demon Pavilion to make trouble. They're robbing us. The rat demon shop assistant was extremely frightened. He was trembling all over and shouted crazily. He immediately triggered the alarm of the Myriad Demon Pavilion, indicating that an enemy had invaded the Myriad Demon Pavilion and was making trouble here. Buzz, all of a sudden, the entire alarm alerted the entire Myriad Demon Pavilion. Countless shop assistants, managers, and even the pavilion master of the Jadeite city were alarmed. This was because someone had invaded the Myriad Demon Pavilion and tried to rob it. It was simply unprecedented. Since the opening of the Jadeite city shop, something like this had never happened before. This time the alarm was simply earth-shattering. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately, hundreds and thousands of Myriad Demon Pavilion demons swarmed out from all directions. They rapidly gathered in the main hall of the Myriad Demon Pavilion and surrounded Xia Ping, Tu Linglong, and Qing Wan. Even the pavilion master, Black Zephyr, awakened from his seclusion. He traversed the void and arrived at the scene of the incident with a single step. He looked down from above and emitted a ferocious aura that made one shudder. There's indeed a primordial heavenly dragon talisman. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and sensed the existence of the primordial heavenly dragon talisman in Black Zephyr's body. Although the other party tried his best to conceal it, he could not hide it from his hell golden crow eye. His plan to lure the snake out of its hole was very successful. He had finally lured Black Zephyr out. What kind of demon are you? You sure have guts to cause trouble in the Myriad Demon Pavilion. Have you thought of how you're going to die? The Myriad Demon Pavilion manager bellowed angrily and glared at Xia Ping. Cause trouble? Who's the one causing trouble? Xia Ping gave him a sidelong glance. I only came to the Myriad Demon Pavilion to sell spirit rice, but this shop assistant was rude and tried to steal my treasures. He accused me of stealing spirit rice and even sent guards to arrest me. If I don't resist, am I supposed to wait for death? I've heard that the Myriad Demon Pavilion has a bad reputation. I thought it was an exaggeration, but I didn't expect it to be true. It's a completely unscrupulous shop. I won't buy anything here in the future. Upon hearing that, many demons from the Myriad Demon Pavilion had sullen expressions. They felt that it was a slap to their faces. That was because such things happened from time to time. However, most of them were small demons who could not resist and could only swallow their anger. But it was different now. The demon in front of them was clearly not ordinary and was not to be trifled with. Selling spirit rice? What kind of spirit rice is it? Black Zephyr asked. Crystal fragrant rice. Chapter 1811. Crystal fragrant rice. And a ton at that. Many monsters from the Myriad Demon Pavilion held their breaths, and their eyes lit up. Big business. There was no doubt that this was a big business worth hundreds of millions of demon coins. Even in the Myriad Demon Pavilion, it was not to be underestimated. Many of the managers glared at the half-dead shop assistant, the rat demon. If it wasn't for this guy messing around, they wouldn't have offended such a big customer. Feeling the stares, the rat demon trembled and regretted it so much that its intestines turned green. If it knew that this kid was a big customer, it wouldn't have dared to cheat people. It would have been fawning over him. A ton of crystal fragrant rice? Very good. You can sell it to the Myriad Demon Pavilion. I guarantee that we will give you a reasonable price. No one will dare to cheat you. Black Zephyr said. Forget it. I can't afford to serve the Myriad Demon Pavilion anymore. I'll go to other places. Goodbye. Xia Ping waved his hand. He didn't want to sell the crystal fragrant rice to the Myriad Demon Pavilion. What? Hearing this, the faces of the managers of the Myriad Demon Pavilion changed. If they lost this business, the Myriad Demon Pavilion would lose a lot of money. Most importantly, if they didn't sell the spirit rice to them, but to other shops, wouldn't that strengthen the strength of other shops? This would be giving money to the enemy. They wouldn't allow such behavior. Brother monster. Black Zephyr's eyes flashed coldly. I advise you to sell this crystal fragrant rice to the Myriad Demon Pavilion. In the entire Jadeite city, no one can afford it except us. Of course, if you leave the Myriad Demon Pavilion and don't do business with us, your reputation will be ruined. I'm afraid that no monster in the entire Jadeite city will dare to buy your rice. Do you understand? His tone was threatening. It was obvious that he wouldn't let Xia Ping leave the Myriad Demon Pavilion. Even if he didn't want to sell it, he had to. Otherwise, they would pressure him and no shop in the Jadeite city would dare to buy his rice. As expected of the Myriad Demon Pavilion. It's really overbearing. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows and looked at the many monsters of the Myriad Demon Pavilion. That's easy. The reason why the Myriad Demon Pavilion can do business in the demon realm is not because we're soft-hearted and fair, but because we're overbearing and arrogant. Black Zephyr sneered. Haha, Pavilion of Demons, you sure talk big. Do you really think that you can cover the sky in Jadeite City with one hand? Since when was it your Pavilion of Demons' turn to make decisions in Jadeite City? At that moment, a figure walked in from outside. It was a mature woman who looked extremely charming. She gave off a flirtatious aura that attracted the attention of all the monsters. A fox demon. Xia Ping immediately sensed that this woman, who looked to be about 30 years old, was a fox demon. Her body exuded a foxy aura, and she constantly exuded the ability to charm people. Many demons were infatuated with it, and their faces were filled with adoration. However, he didn't feel anything. In his eyes, this fox demon was just child's play. It couldn't be compared to Su Mei's natural, earth-shattering aura. If he had to describe it, he would say that the women in the brothel were all dressed up and had a strong smell of prostitution. Of course, it was more than enough to attract ordinary monsters. Hu Sanyang, this is my Pavilion of Demons. What are you doing here? Black Zephyr didn't expect someone to appear at this time. His face immediately turned ugly. He could also see that this fox demon's identity was not ordinary. She was Hu Sanyang, the leader of the famous Fox Demon Hall in Jadeite City. She was a great monster at the peak of the Dharma plane. She was not inferior to Black Zephyr at all. To other monsters he could act mighty but not to Hu Sanyang. So what if it's your Pavilion of Demons? Can't I, Hu Sanyang, come here? Hu Sanyang ignored Black Zephyr. She swayed her waist and came in front of Xia Ping. She giggled. Little brother, if you don't want to sell it to the Pavilion of Demons, you can sell it to the Fox Demon Hall. No matter how much crystal rice you have, we can eat it all. Oh, if I sell it to you, how much for a caddy? Xia Ping asked. Of course we will sell it according to the market price. We can pay 100,000 demon coins for a caddy of crystal rice. We will eat as much as you have. Hu Sanyang smiled. She was not lying when she said this. Spirit rice was a hard currency in the demon realm. There was no need to worry about unsaleable goods. Sometimes, it was even more valuable than demon coins. Moreover, top-grade spirit rice was even more popular. Every king monster wanted it. The demand was endless. The price is not bad. Xia Ping nodded, expressing his satisfaction. That's good. Next, why don't we go to the Fox Demon Hall? Hu Sanyang wanted to go back to her territory to discuss the food trade with Xia Ping. No problem at all. Xia Ping naturally would not refuse. Soon, the group left the Pavilion of Demons. Pavilion Master, are we not going to stop Hu Sanyang and let her take the guest away? This will damage the reputation of the Pavilion of Demons. A manager of the Pavilion of Demons said to the Pavilion Master, Black Zephyr. Stop. Oh. That Hu Sanyang is not simple. Let's not talk about her unfathomable level of training. Just look at her methods. Her friends are almost all over Jadeite City. If we mess with one, we'll be messing with a whole bunch. We can't act rashly. Of course, Black Zephyr wanted to kill Hu Sanyang. The problem was that he did not dare and was not confident. He could only endure it. He turned his head and stared at the rat demon on the ground. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Rat demon, how dare you? How dare you chase away a guest in front of us and ruin a big business of the Pavilion of Demons? How are you going to take responsibility for this? Pavilion Master, spare me. Spare me this time. I won't dare to do it again. I won't dare to do it again. As long as you spare me this time, I will work hard in the future. Something like this will never happen again. The rat demon begged for mercy and cried bitterly. Bang! Before it could finish speaking, Black Zephyr lightly struck with his palm. A terrifying black wind attacked and covered the rat demon's body in an instant. Whoosh! Immediately, the rat demon let out a shrill scream. Its entire body was corroded by the black wind. In an instant, it melted completely. Not even a single piece of it was left. You have to pay the price for doing something wrong. There are always demons who don't pay the price, thinking that there will be another chance. What kind of discipline is there in the Pavilion of Demons? Everyone should learn from this, understand? Black Zephyr said earnestly. Yes, yes, yes. The group of demons was drenched in sweat. They were scared out of their wits. Demon, keep an eye on the demon selling the spirit rice. I have a feeling that he has a secret on him. Perhaps we can get a windfall. Black Zephyr's eyes revealed a cold glint. In fact, he suddenly felt the 18 primordial heavenly dragon talismans in his body throb. It was as though someone of his kind was beside him. He immediately suspected Xia Ping and felt that he might have the primordial heavenly dragon talismans on him. Therefore, Black Zephyr decided to let Xia Ping off temporarily and wanted to investigate in secret. The primordial heavenly dragon talismans were too important. They surpassed everything. The reason why he could achieve what he had today was because he had obtained a few primordial heavenly dragon talismans when he was still a young demon. Therefore, he was invincible and obtained countless resources to grow into the great demon he was now. Chapter 1812. Fox Demon Palace. At this moment, Xia Ping, Tu Linglong, and Qing Yuan appeared in the Fox Demon Palace. Many Fox Demoness servants appeared in the surroundings, transforming into women with graceful figures. They spoke softly, releasing a decadent sound that made people forget to leave. Moreover, the clothes they wore were also very unique. Other than the key parts, everything else was exposed and it was faintly discernible. Not bad, this place is not bad. It's like a paradise on earth. There are so many beautiful women here. If I knew this would happen, I would have come here to do business. Xia Ping praised. Right, can I bring these fox girls out? To be honest, I want to talk to them through the night and talk about each other's lives. He spoke his mind honestly. Stinky man. Tu Linglong glared fiercely at Xia Ping. She had long known that this bastard was up to no good, yet he had followed the vixen into the vixen's den. Wasn't it like firewood encountering a raging fire? Hearing this, Hu Sanyang waved her hand. No, the fox girls here sell their skills, not their bodies. This is not a place to hide dirty things. I don't have that kind of service. If you have the ability, you can win the favor of these fox girls and make them follow you out willingly. That is also your charm. I can't stop you. She exuded a faintly discernible fox charm. She understood men very well. She knew that men were very cheap and would not cherish things that were easy to get. She could only hook a man's appetite and catch him bit by bit. Then he would not be able to run away. Sell their skills but not their bodies? That's simple. They let me do it, but I don't pay, so it's not considered selling. Xia Ping said casually, revealing his solution. What? The surrounding fox girls were dumbfounded. There was actually such a solution? Wasn't this a bandit? They had never seen such a barbaric and shameless demon. Tu Linglong and Qing Yuan also saw Xia Ping's shamelessness again. It refreshed their understanding of shamelessness. Ahem, little brother, let's talk about business. How much spirit rice do you have? Hu Sanyang coughed and automatically changed the topic. There was no way to talk with this bandit. She had heard of people eating for free, but she had never heard of prostitutes and people wanting to do it for free. To be honest, even an experienced and knowledgeable woman like her couldn't resist such shamelessness. I have a lot of spiritual rice, 10 tons. Can you eat it? Xia Ping said lightly. He casually tossed out an interspatial ring which contained 10 tons of crystal rice. What? 10 tons? Hu Sanyang took the ring and scanned it with her spiritual perception. She was shocked to see the dazzling array of spirit rice inside. To be honest, she thought that Xia Ping would only have a little more than a ton of crystal fragrant rice on him, and he might have gotten it from some field in the wild. She didn't expect that he would have 10 tons, which was simply beyond her imagination. However, she quickly calmed down. Little brother, I didn't expect that you would actually have 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice. From what you said, it seems like you can bring more than 10 tons. She looked at Xia Ping with a burning gaze. That's right. Xia Ping admitted. 10 tons is just a small number, just a drop in the ocean. At the beginning of this transaction, I will use it to test the water. If the cooperation goes well, I will make a lot of money in the future. Usually Tan Minglu ate dozens of tons. It was just 10 tons. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was just a drop in the ocean. Moreover, most of the space of the mountain river Pearl had been restored. There was more land for planting. As time went by, he could grow more spirit rice. He could not even finish eating it. He could sell it in large quantities. It seems that little brother's background is not simple. 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice is just a drop in the ocean. Which force are you from? By the way, after talking for so long, I still don't know your name? Hu Sanyang's attitude changed a little. She began to feel that this man's background was not ordinary. Perhaps he was a representative sent by some super force to test the water in Jadeite City. Master Wu Taidu. Xia Ping said his name. As for which force I am from, you don't need to know. It's not good for you to know too much. In short, let's finish this transaction first. He pulled the tiger's skin, vaguely expressing that he indeed had someone backing him, and that his background was very powerful. Okay. Hu Sanyang also felt that she was a little too anxious. A woman who was too anxious would scare away a man. She regained her indifferent attitude and said, 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice is indeed a big amount, but my fox demon palace can still eat it. Here is an anonymous demon coin card worth 1 billion demon coins. Take a look. In the demon world there was also the existence of human technology. It was not out of touch with the world. And the demon coin card was equivalent to this world's bank card. Could be used to buy things in various shops. And not bad. The amount is right. Xiaoping's divine sense penetrated it. He immediately saw the words 1 billion appeared on the demon coin card. That's it for today. Next time there will be more fragrant crystal rice. I will look for you to cooperate. We can cooperate for a long time. Of course. No matter when you want to buy or sell, my Fox Demon Palace will always welcome you. Hu Sanyang smiled faintly. No one would reject such a big customer. If the 1,000 Demon Pavilion knew about this situation, the group of demons would definitely go crazy. They did not know that they pushed away a god of wealth. They would regret it for the rest of their lives. After chatting for a while, Xiaoping, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan left the Fox Demon Palace. Oh my god. After leaving the Fox Demon Palace, Tu Linglong seemed to be unable to suppress her excitement. 1 billion demon coins was earned so easily. How many elixirs, treasures, and buns can I buy with that? She had never seen such a large amount of money in her life. To be honest, when she was in the cloud world, she was considered the Rabbit Clan's saintess. But it was different in the universe. She did not have any universe currency. At the same time, she had to deal with the Demon Temple's missions. She also needed to cultivate and buy elixirs and treasures. She was already short of money. During this period of time, she was extremely miserable. Her life was so poor that she could not even afford to buy some food. She was almost living under the bridge. Qing Wan was also a little shocked. At the same time, she was a little discouraged. They had worked so hard to earn a few demon coins. But Xiaoping came and casually earned 1 billion demon coins. He was not short of money at all. Why was there such a big gap between people? Was there any justice in this world? Still want to buy buns? How poor are you to want to buy this kind of thing? What a loser. Xiaoping looked at Tu Linglong with contempt. Then what do you want to buy? Tu Linglong put her hands on her waist and looked at Xiaoping angrily. What to buy? Of course I want to buy everything I see. Xiaoping wanted to buy everything in the demon realm to build the mountain river pearl in Gaia space. No matter how many there were, it would not satisfy his appetite. Chapter 1813. Ailan Bazaar. Xiaoping brought Tu Linglong and Qing Wan into a shop that sold refining materials. He looked around and pointed at some materials in front of him, asking, "What is this? What's the price?" A shop assistant hurriedly came up and said, "Customer, this is 5 Qi demon steel, a very good material for refining. The flying swords refined from it are incomparably sharp, and they are at least low-grade spiritual weapons. The price is only 1 demon coin per kilogram. Take it." Before the shop assistant could finish, Xiaoping waved his hand, cutting him off, and took it. Take it? The shop assistant was dumbfounded, not knowing what Xiaoping meant. What's wrong? Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? How much do you have in stock? Take it out immediately and take it all, Xiaoping said impatiently. Yes, yes, yes. Hearing this, how could the shop assistant not know that a super tycoon had come to buy all the goods? Without another word, he immediately asked the boss to personally serve him. What is this? Blood Demon Stone, contains supreme blood chi, can be used to refine all kinds of demon weapons and demonic weapons. Price 10 demon coins per kilo. Take it. Brother, this is fallen phoenix iron, an iron ore formed after being contaminated with the blood of a phoenix. Of course, there are some exaggerations, but it is an excellent material for refining fire-type magic treasures, and has a strong flame conductivity. Take it all. Sir, this is white demon jade, a top-grade jade used to refine all kinds of formations. It is an excellent material for laying the foundation of formations, and can even increase the power of formations by 30%. I have a lot in stock. Very good, take it all, take it all. Father, this is Demon Ink Crystal, a special product 30,000 meters underground in the demon realm. After hundreds of thousands of years of crustal movement, it formed into a top-grade ore. It is extremely hard and resistant to water and fire. It is the best material for refining armors and magic treasures. It can't be found anywhere else, only my place has it. It is unique. Very good, take it all, take it all. Originally the shop owner was reserved, but Xiaoping was really too generous. No matter what he introduced, he would take it all, no matter how much he had, not treating demon coins as money at all. In the end, he directly knelt down, completely convinced, completely treating Xiaoping as his father. At this moment, even his biological parents couldn't compare to the importance of Xiaoping. When the shopping was over, all the employees in the shop, including the boss's wife and son, rushed to the door. Their faces were full of smiles as they sent Xiaoping off in a grand and respectful manner. Of course, Xiaoping's shopping wasn't over, it was just the beginning. He had only spent a little bit of money to buy these materials, it wasn't enough. He entered a medicine shop and asked the shop assistant to introduce the elixirs here. Big bro, this is demon leaf grass. It grows under the moonlight and absorbs the essence of heaven and earth. It has 300 years of medicinal strength, and its medicinal properties are gentle. It's an important supplementary spirit medicine for all kinds of medicinal pills. This is demon rat flower, it's a top-grade spirit medicine that was infected by the rat clan's demonic energy. It has the strong vitality of a rat demon, and once consumed, ordinary injuries will quickly recover. It's a top-grade material for refining medicinal pills. This is black demon lotus, it grows under the famous corpse pool. It absorbs the blood aura in the depths of the void as well as the mysterious Yin aura in the deep pool, and then swallows the essence of the moonlight to grow. After consuming it, it has a great effect on one's cultivation, enough to increase one's demonic energy cultivation by hundreds of years. It's very rare. Teddy fruit, it doesn't have much use. After consuming it, it will rapidly develop and men will constantly exercise like Teddy. It's an important spirit fruit to increase the intimacy between men and women. It's very popular. Husky flower, after consuming it, one will go crazy and their intelligence will drop to the lowest. It's best not to let it out. It will bite people at any time, and it will also destroy the environment of the house. It will only lose its effect after 24 hours. The shop assistants frantically introduced the spirit medicines in the shop. And every spirit medicine that they introduced would be bought by Xiaoping, not caring about his wallet at all. In just an hour he had almost cleaned out all the spirit medicines in the shop, not leaving a single spirit medicine behind. The shop owners and shop assistants were practically worshipping Xiaoping like a dog. If Xiaoping took in a son, they would probably kneel down in front of him. Next, Xiaoping also swept through the medicinal pill shops, magical treasure shops and other shops. He basically swept through all the shops he could see with his naked eyes, and bought almost all of their goods. Basically they could make samples in advance. Even if there were customers they wouldn't be able to buy much. Xiaoping had almost spent all the 1 billion demon coins he had, and he only had a few million demon coins left, which was barely enough to rent a villa in Jadeite City for a few years. After all, he also needed to temporarily live in this place, so he still had some rationality and didn't spend it all. And this behavior had completely shocked all the demons in the Sea Waves Bazaar. When had they ever seen such a tycoon's behavior? It was simply unheard of and never seen before. Have you heard? A super tycoon appeared in the Sea Waves Bazaar. He's sweeping up goods everywhere, not looking at the price at all. He buys everything he sees, and when people don't let him buy, he even gets angry. Damn, I already knew about it. This matter has spread throughout the entire Sea Waves Bazaar. This tycoon is simply too extravagant. Do you know that Che Clan medicine shop from before? Normally no one goes there and they only sell trash spirit medicines. But once that tycoon went there, he bought everything, not even letting a single blade of grass go. That Che Clan medicine shop owner went crazy with joy, and he didn't have to work for a few years. This is nothing. Liu Clan Smithy's accumulated demon iron for a few years that couldn't be sold was actually bought out, and not even scraps were left. This is too scary. When I went to that medicine shop earlier, that tycoon actually bought even soil, and almost dug out all the soil in the medicine shop. He laughed so hard that the medicine shop owner couldn't even see his teeth, and his face looked like a woman on her period. Oh my god, why didn't you introduce this kind of idiot, no, this kind of tycoon to me? I still have a lot of materials that haven't been sold for many years, and it's just the right time to clear them out. It's too late. He's long gone. My preliminary estimate is that the tycoon spent at least $1 billion this time. Damn, $1 billion is too much. How many years would it take for me to earn that much money? I was sick before, so I closed my shop and missed this opportunity to get rich. When a demon is unlucky, money falls from the sky and you still actively avoid it. Don't worry, this tycoon said that he's very happy today, and might come back tomorrow to continue sweeping up goods. Damn, hurry up and prepare. Prepare as many goods as you can. Whether we eat porridge or eat depends on today. A sucker like this is really rare in history. Chapter 1814. Thousand Demon Pagoda. At this moment they also knew what Xia Ping had done in Hailan Market. He was buying things everywhere and had bought a total of 1 billion. It was like a helicopter throwing money everywhere, making Hailan Market look like it was celebrating the new year. 1 billion, my god, that kid spent a total of 1 billion to buy goods in Hailan Market, throwing money everywhere. Where did he get so much money from? A demon was so jealous that its eyes were red. It had never had so much money in its entire life, but this kid had spent 1 billion demon coins in just one day. Why was the difference so huge? It was going crazy with jealousy. He must have gotten it from selling crystal rice. I received news that he had already made a deal with Fox Demon Palace, and Fox Demon Palace had also obtained a large amount of crystal rice, making a lot of money. A long-eared demon received the news from Fox Demon Palace. It clenched its teeth in jealousy. Impossible, he only had 1 ton of crystal rice, how could he have gotten 1 billion demon coins? A pig-nosed demon felt that it was impossible. Just 1 ton of crystal rice could not be sold for 1 billion. After all, Fox Demon Palace was not stupid and would not make a losing deal. Not 1 ton but 10 tons of crystal rice. That kid sold 10 tons and got 1 billion demon coins. The long-eared demon almost roared. 10 tons of crystal rice sold for 1 billion demon coins? That kid is crazy, spending it all in one day with only 1 billion. Even a prodigal can't be this wasteful. This is ridiculous. What's wrong with this kid's brain? Doesn't he see money as money? Many demons could not understand. According to their thinking, 1 billion demon coins could be spent for God knows how long. How could it be like this kid spending it all in one day? It was outrageous. I can only say that this kid has more than 10 tons of crystal rice on him, maybe even more. I also received news that he has a channel that can sell crystal rice continuously. The long-eared demon said in a low voice. What? Many of the managers of the Thousand Demon Pagoda were regretting their actions. If that rat demon had not been so arrogant and chased away this big customer, then this channel of crystal rice would have fallen into their hands instead of Fox Demon Palace. Despicable rat Yao. It ruined our 10,000 Yao Pavilion's plans, cutting off our 10,000 Yao Pavilion's source of income. Killing it earlier was letting it off lightly. It should have been tortured for 3 days and 3 nights before dying. The group of 10,000 demons pavilion stewards hated him to death, but there was nothing they could do. Pavilion Master, what should we do now? A steward looked at the Pavilion Master, Black Zephyr. It's okay. There are many ways to earn money in this world. It's just losing a way to earn money. It's not a big deal. We can earn it back from other places. Besides, that kid is in the limelight. I'm afraid he won't be able to grow his tail. A cold light flashed in Black Zephyr's eyes. He had sent people to observe Xia Ping in secret, and he had even taken action himself. He had finally confirmed that the punk had the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. Thinking of this, Black Zephyr could no longer restrain himself. He wanted to kill and snatch the treasure. As long as it could obtain the many primordial heavenly dragon talismans from that lad, its strength would definitely increase greatly. It would be enough to sweep through all its opponents in Jadeite City and become invincible. At that time, it would not be impossible for him to become the master of the Jadeite City. A mere grain trade was nothing to him. He decided to take action tonight and quietly eliminate that lad and snatch back all the primordial heavenly dragon talismans. Of course he would not say these things out. The news of the primordial heavenly dragon talismans had to be kept secret. Otherwise, who knew how many demons would swarm over? At that time he would not have a chance. Black Zephyr naturally would not do such a stupid thing. Fox Demon Hall. Many fox demons gathered together, and the hall master, Husan Yang, was sitting on the high seat. Hall master, that demon, Master Matedo, seems to be extravagant. He spent all the 1 billion demon coins we got in a day. It's too exaggerated. I have never seen such a prodigal son of an aristocratic family. That's right. 1 billion demon coins can buy a lot of things. But that guy is a prodigal son. He bought a lot of things that he doesn't need. I don't know what he's thinking. With such a prodigal son, no matter how much money his family has, it's not enough for him to squander. Hall master, it's better not to cooperate with this guy. Otherwise we won't know how we will be cheated. Many fox demons were discussing. They were shocked by Xia Ping's actions. No, you guys are still young. You only look at the surface when doing things. You don't see the essence. Hu Sanyang waved her hand and smiled. A poor man who suddenly got a fortune will definitely not spend it all in a day. It's the instinct of a poor man to be prepared for danger in times of peace. But that kid is different. He has the guts to spend 1 billion in a day. It's enough to prove that his family background is not ordinary. 1 billion is just a small number to him. That's why he has the guts to spend 1 billion without being stingy. From this matter, she could see that Master Matato's family background was not ordinary. A family that could treat 1 billion as pocket money was very rare even in the big demon world. So what if we know his background is not ordinary? If he squanders like this, how much money is there for him to spend? Some fox demons were unconvinced. Knowing his background is not ordinary is enough. It's enough to prove that his crystal fragrant rice channel is correct. There are many opportunities for us to cooperate in the future. Hu Sanyang smiled, and if he squanders, that's his business. It has nothing to do with our fox demon palace. As long as we can get an endless supply of crystal fragrant rice from him, it's the best thing for our fox demon palace. Why not? Many fox demons were convinced. It was indeed reasonable. Anyway, they only needed the crystal fragrant rice from Master Matato. They just took what they needed. They gave the money. How Master Matato spent it naturally had nothing to do with them. But Palace Lord, I'm afraid Master Matato's life can't be guaranteed tonight. A fox demon immediately reported, I received news that Thousand Demon Pavilion had sent people to watch Master Matato. They secretly investigated him. Even Black Zephyr himself took action. He left a murderous aura on him. We all know Black Zephyr's character. He will take revenge for the smallest grievance. Now that Master Matato has lost his face, I'm afraid he will take revenge. Palace Lord, should we help? It looked at Hu Sanyang. Don't worry. Hu Sanyang waved her hand. This is a good opportunity. We can test Master Matato's ability. If he can escape from Black Zephyr's pursuit, it will prove that he really has something. If he can't even escape from Black Zephyr's pursuit, it will prove that his ability is only SOSO. It's not worth it for our Fox Demon Palace to cooperate with him. Her eyes shone brightly, and many schemes appeared in her mind. Yes, Palace Lord. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.